No sound? Fuck. Okay. Okay, no problem. I'll sort that out. Okay, now I know what it is. One, two.
We're going to freeze.
Dr. Kolomo, ó dà pé ẹ jìnnà díẹ̀ sí system yẹn bóyá tẹ́ bá move a little closer. Sir.
Please, can I just say that we don't want everybody talking. If there's any mistake, we will correct it. We don't want everybody talking. Thank you. Go ahead.
Nǹkan tí àwọn màmá wa ń try láti sọ ni pé ẹjọ́ anybody tó bá ní nǹkan tó ń fẹ́ sọ ẹjọ́ ẹ bá wa send ẹ̀ sórí text àárí gbogbo mistake tó bá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ àwa náà rí adẹ̀ try láti correct ẹ̀ tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ borí ara wa ó máa dín nǹkan lọ́wọ́ ni ẹ ṣé adúpẹ́ sà.
All right, thank you for attending the Yoruba One Voice One Year Anniversary. And we must not forget our journey, how we get to where we are today. Big thank you to our convener, and then we need to say big thank you to the organizing committee. The chairperson is Oduduwa, who have done a stunning job. And to run this commemoration in a very cost-effective manner, we need to thank everybody. We need to thank our speakers too, our guest speaker today for accepting the invitation. I'll start this my address taking an excerpt from the article written by one of our greatest progenitors, Dr. Taishin. Actually, the article was written a few months after I was born. You know that that's a very long article. I'll start by reading some of those parts of the article. When I walk into the dry and certainly cool morning air of every January, I wish myself plenty of tears and of laughter, plenty of happiness and unhappiness, plenty of failures and success, plenty of abuse and praise. It is impossible to win ultimately without a rich measure of intermission in such a name. Life will be worthless without the loss. We do not achieve much in Nigeria because we are all so scared of taking risks. We all want smooth and well-paved roads. One of the reasons the Americans and others succeed so well is that they took great risks. Ladies and gentlemen, it is risky for us to say we want to have Oduduwa nation, most especially when the leader of our oppressor is the one actually running the nation. But what can we do? The risk is worthwhile. We have to go ahead and take that risk so that we can have our nation. Our success are conditioned by the amount of risk we are ready to take. Life, if it's going to be abundant, must have plenty of fields and vales. It must have plenty of sunshine and rough weather. It must be rich in obfuscation and perspicacity. It must be packed with days of dangers and of apprehension. The big fish is never caught in shallow water. You have to go into open sea for it. The bigger businessmen make decisions with lightning speed and carry them out with equal celerity. They do not dare delay or die. Time will pass them by if they did. The biggest success are preceded by greatest of hard money. You cannot make omelette without breaking eggs. Throughout the world, there is no pain without pain. Nero has to put it so well. I'm going to paraphrase him. He wants to meet his trouble in a frontal attack. He wants to see himself tossed into the aperture between the two horns of the bull. Being there, he determined he's going to win, and therefore, such a fight requires all his faculties. You should read the story of the bomber pilot of World War II, Russian pilot, German pilot. The American pilot or British pilot suffered exactly the same physical and mental tension the night before the raid on enemy territory. There were no alternative for those who most genuinely believe in victory for their side. Ladies and gentlemen, we must emerge victorious in our quest for Oduduwa nation. Nigeria is negotiable. What is not negotiable is our right to self-determination. Our quest for freedom, this is timeless and priceless. We are not going to stop until our aims and objectives are accomplished. As long as we remain within the geographical boundary created by the British, we are not free people for enslaved. We cannot accept a nominal independence. We must demand total freedom. It is a generational failure if we allow our autonomy, which was not to be confined to the doctrine of peace. Fulani domination will no longer be allowed to stand as an alternative to British colonization. For those who believe in freedom, justice, and equality, this is time to rise up and demand justice for Oduduwa people. Those who kill, rape, and destroy the livelihood of our people make violent reprisal inevitable. The violent attack on Igboho residents and the atrocity that follows suit is a testimony that we are the face of violent attack. as described by Arthur in 3 Phases of Truth. This attack on Sunday Igboho must be seen as an attack on all Yoruba race. We must ensure this does not happen again on our land. And unless we act fast and swiftly, all of us might be exterminated, as we have seen in the of carnage. We shall not forget attack on Sunday Igboho. We should not forget attack on the carnage. And the rendition of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped by the Nigerian government. Authority in Nigeria must be labeled as a terrorist without further delay. This is a criminal government. It must be held accountable for aiding and abetting all criminal acts committed against our people. It is within our right to ask for the restoration of our autonomy. That is what was negotiated with Britain. Hence, establishment of one Nigeria. In absence of 1963 Constitution, Nigeria is a legal state. It is our right to demand for establishment of Yoruba state of Oduduwa, who is going to live side by side by our neighbor in peace and harmony. The only way our land can be prosperous is to utilize our resources for the benefit of our people and not to allow internal colonization by the We must all recognize that we are colonized people. Until we recognize this, we will not realize the need to fight for people and to have self-determination. The earlier this resonates in our mind and reverberate across our motherland, our need for self-determination will not be uppermost in our mind. Oduduwa nation has been existent before the advent of European. It is a civilization and democracy which prevailed British and American civilization. We reject the cross amalgamation. We reject internal colonization by the Nigerian military and Fulani oligarchy. Oduduwa people rise up and defend their land, liberate us from the shackles of Fulani oppression. The day people are told that they are born to be perpetual, drought of water, fever of food, and only good for permanent enslavement and domination, that is the day they are going to begin. Freedom, justice, and equity is very difficult to say. Oduduwa rise up to build the best nation that the world has never seen. Thank you all. God bless. Oduduwa nation.
Thank you very much, sir, for that beautifully put together speech. It is a clarion call and a charge for everybody who have not yet seen the light. Thank you so much. A rí pé gbogbo speech tí àwọn bàbá wa give yẹn ó fẹ́ hólò díẹ̀ ní background nítorí dà pé nítorí environment tó wà ní. So nǹkan tá a máa ṣe ni pé lẹ́yìn ìpàdé a máa rọ̀ wọ́n kí wọ́n bá wa ṣe ka speech yìí dà sínú audio ká lè share káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn wa or kó jẹ́ pé wọ́n máa provide wa ní text of it so that ká share fáwọn èèyàn káàkiri. Àwa kan gbọ́ dáadáa but unfortunately àwọn kan ó hólò ní background fún wọn. Ẹ ṣégun adúpẹ́ sir, thank you very much for that beautiful one. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ èní ọjọ́ àṣeyẹ lèní àti ọjọ́ àṣeyẹ ní èní yìí a dẹ̀ ti rí i pé ó ti yẹ ẹgbẹ́ yìí lẹ́yìn ọdún kan tí gbogbo wa ti wà papọ̀ ó ń lé sí ni kò dín ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ń pọ̀ sí ni a dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run fún gbogbo eléyìí ṣùgbọ́n níbí báwo ló ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ gangan báwo ni ó ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìyẹn nìkan tí a fẹ́ sáà tá a fẹ́ lọ ní ìsinyìí a máa pe bàbá wa láti fún wa ní history YOV wọ́n ní ẹni onúkàn láti ń gbọ́kàn a máa pe bàbá wa the Generalissimo of Yoruba land, the 15th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, Ìbà Ìgè Abíọ́dún Adams láti fún wa ní lẹ́sẹẹsẹ bí YOV yìí ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ àti bá a ṣe débi tá a wà ní ìsìn. Bàbá wa sà.
Ẹ ṣé atọ́kùn ẹ kúṣẹ́ Oòduà á gbè wá o. Ṣé gbọ́rọ̀ mi? Yeah.
Clear and loud, sir.
Let me read it on the basis of text of speech. The Secretary General of YOV, Dr. Shina Okolomo, one of the co-founder and the director of program, Erelu Abike Ade, all executive of YOV worldwide, all members of administrative strategy team, the two elder scholars that will give us lecture today, Professor Ayodeji Agbonjimi and Professor Salau Akim Shegun, and our dear moderator, Mr. Babajide Akinremi, and the entire participants in this August gathering. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this great event. I think it is wonderful to be part of this historic gathering. On July 10 last year, exactly 1 year ago today, history was made as the Yoruba One Voice was established as an organization of all Yoruba sons and daughters in diaspora, saddled with the responsibility of seeking self-determination and total liberation of Yoruba race from Nigeria. Before I go into the details of how YOV was born, let me express my sincere appreciation to our two guest lecturers, Professor Ayodeji Agbonjimi from Department of Public and International Law, Faculty of Law, Ajayi Crowther University, Oyo, Professor Salau Akim Shegun from Department of Linguistics and African Languages, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. Our two guest lecturers are the sons of the soil, and they will surely do justice to the two different topics for discussion at the appropriate time. I will also express my appreciation to the moderator of this event, Mr. Babajide Akinremi, as well as all members spreading across all the 6 continents of the world. I extend my appreciation also to administrative strategy team and all members of the 7 standing committee and department of YOB, including planning committee, administrative committee, finance committee, strategic committee, media and publicity committee, and foreign affairs department for steering the affair of the organization. It is indeed remarkable to say it today that YOB came to being at a very difficult moment in the history of Nigeria. And as the grand patron of this organization, with the level of progress made within the short period of our existence, I am happy to tell everybody present here today that the journey that started exactly 1 year ago today promises to be the most rewarding journey ever in the history of Yoruba race. Our story was accidental. YOB was established as a coalition of all Yoruba groups and social-cultural organizations in diaspora in order to rescue the Yoruba race from the long portrayed suffering occasioned by bad leadership in Nigeria. And intensely, all our members, mostly Yoruba sons and daughters, were also drawn from all over the world, comprising some of the best brains in the world. We came together to seek self-determination and total liberation of Yoruba race from the self-styled government of Nigeria. Yoruba One Voice, YOV, as the name implies, simply show our resolve and determination to speak in one voice against the injustice done to our region and also towards the actualization of our noble dreams. In our own little way, we have been monitoring unfolding events back home in Nigeria. We have judiciously followed the trends. We have started charting a new course by using what we have to correct the wrong of the past and eventually put our destiny in our own hands. As far as I'm concerned, our major achievement was in October last year, October 1st, 2020, international rally held in 120 countries across the world with a big success in the history of our organization. The success of the rally really changed the narrative globally, especially in Nigeria, where the call and clamor for self-determination, birth of Yoruba nation became increasingly and evident across the country. It's also noteworthy that one of the success recorded with the rally was the global appeal we have been enjoying from international community. It is a strong signal, and I believe strongly that it will go a long way in getting us to the promised land. Also, another milestone of YOV's journey and the struggle for the actualization of Yoruba nation was the March 27, 2021 International Webinar Conference, where Professor Akin Alao and Professor Femi Obayori gave the lecture to the participants. The event was held for over 4 hours with over 1,000 prominent Yoruba sons and daughters in attendance. In June this year, especially on June 12th, about 90 to 95% of the members of YOV held another rally globally to press home our demand for the Yoruba nation. In the course of our journey, it is also very important to note that YOB have established a well-defined and articulate relationship with the international community. We have also made our intention known to the world. Part of this was the petition we wrote to the global community on the state of insecurity in Nigeria. I'm happy those petitions were acknowledged by international communities, including the United States President, Joe Biden, and the United Kingdom Parliament. Our green note in history of YOB was the recent international press conference organized by Foreign Affairs Department of YOB. The event held in the National Press Club in Washington was a big leap in our global approach and awareness strategy for effective result, and the feedback we get daily was awesome. YOB gave analytical reports of the unfolding event in Nigeria, exposed the state of insecurity in Southwest with documentary, pictorial evidence of the killing and destruction across the Southwest. With the various activities, we have sent a strong signal to the world that we truly know what we want. Our approach and strategy are in line with the global trend, and I have a strong conviction that we shall achieve this in no long time. Therefore, today, as we celebrate the first anniversary of YOB, I think we have made remarkable progress in our quest to liberate our race. We have achieved all this within a year because our commitment, determination, and drive as a formidable organization. YOB is formidable because we are surrounded by people of great value. We are formidable because we are bounded by common goals, which are purely the emancipation of our race. However, the last 1 year, we really not a bed of roses. It is not as if there is no problem, an impediment on our way, but we are able to overcome those challenges, coming out even stronger, better because of our goal, vision, and mission for a greater purposes that are even beyond individual differences. And finally, it is on this note that we urge all members of this noble organization to remain committed to the ideas of this organization. We must improve our mobilization strategy, spread our tentacles to all countries of the world. We must be focused and do away with attempt on issues that can cause friction and acrimony within the ranks. We must also run all-inclusive organization. Therefore, I urge other groups, individuals, people of like mind to join YOB in championing the cause of liberation of our race. We are in our best form when we come together, channel our little and individual collective effort, strengthening as one big united family. to positively alter the destiny of Yoruba race. One good thing about the struggle for the liberation of our race is that no matter how difficult or hard it is to achieve our goal, I am confident, even as I want to assure you that the struggle is like a journey. Very soon, we shall reach our divine destination. As the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, the grand patron of this organization, my position is so strategic. It is deliberate because I believe in justice and fairness to all and sundry. That is why I think it is imperative for us to operate all-inclusive organization. So as we celebrate YOB first anniversary today, it is behoves on all of us to do the needful by putting in all our efforts to ensure that we achieve the best for our race. And I want to state categorically that as an organization, YOB condemned in strong terms the cruel invasion of Chief Sunday Igboho house, and we call for the release of the 13 detainees. Igboho has been so peaceful in his crusade for Yoruba nation struggle, and he deserves his liberty as every other Nigerian. Thanks for listening, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much. That was well said. That was a cause to follow. That's a champion to the cause, and I hope that everybody have taken a lead to what our Ààrẹ has just told us. In summary of it, it boils down to every hand must be on deck, whether you are in the north, south, east, or west of this world, whether you are in Africa or no, every hand must be on deck. Every attitude and behavior must be in line with the course and strategy of the organization. We all have to put in everything we've got, talent, our pockets, our knowledge, our experiences into the goals that we've set for ourselves. It's a dream right now, but when we are all on the same page and we are all doing the same thing towards the same goal, it will surely materialize. Eshegun Babawa, thank you so much for that beautiful piece. Àti wá ń dé ibi tí ọ̀rọ̀ dé báyìí nísìnyí. Àti gba àwọn onímọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ tó dáa kan tí ó yẹ pé onímọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ tó ga jùlọ láti fún wa ní ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí lórí àwọn gbogbo nǹkan tá a ti ẹ̀ ń retí ní ọ̀dọ̀ wa yìí. Oríṣiríṣi ọ̀rọ̀ là ń gbọ́ káàkiri, eléyìí ní a ló lè ṣe, eléyìí a ní kò lè ṣe. Kí ni àwọn nǹkan tó ń dí wa lọ́wọ́? Kí ni ṣé tòótọ́ tiẹ̀ ní, ṣé ó possible àbí ò possible? First speaker of the day to commemorate this celebration of first year anniversary of YOV is an erudite scholar from Nigeria, is a professor from the Department of Public and International Law of the Faculty of Law at Jai Crowther University in Oyo State. He's a distinguished scholar and an erudite one for that matter. He's going to be talking on Nigeria, an experiment in the possibility and roadmap to Yoruba self-determination. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, could you please help me welcome to the discourse, Professor Ayodeji Agbonjimi. He will be taking us on for the next 30 minutes or so, and after that, we will move to the next in our schedule. You're welcome, sir. The floor is yours. Professor Ayodeji, sir.
Next. There are some noise coming from the background. Can you tell everybody to mute, please?
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ a rọ̀ everybody tó bá ń join wa àbáwọn tó ti wà lórí ìkànnì already pé kí wọ́n mute microphone wọn. Bọ́tìn kékeré tó dàbí microphone yan, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá wa tẹ̀ ẹ́ kí ariwo yìí lè dákẹ́. Àbí àwọn atọ́kùn wa tí ó wà lábẹ́lẹ̀ ẹ mute everybody That Professor Ashewa on mute around.
Mr. Ibrahim Lawal. I think Mr. Ibrahim Lawal is not there with his with phone, so I can be muted.
Okay. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ibrahim, ẹ bá wa pa microphone yín.
The host can actually mute anybody that is unmuted. The host can mute everybody. Thank you.
Ẹ ṣé gan host, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ host ẹ bá wa máa mójútó ọ̀rọ̀ microphone yìí dáadáa, kẹ́ máa bá wa ṣọ́ lóòrèkóòrè láti máa pa àwọn tí ó bá tan microphone wọn. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ìjẹ́ Professor Ayọ̀dèjì Àgbọ̀njìmí ti wà ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ sà. Okay, Mrs. Ọlánìpẹ̀kun, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá wa wò bóyá a lè rí ẹ lè bá wa tọ́ Professor Ayọ̀dèjì ní orí ìkànnì yìí. Láì fa ọ̀rọ̀ gùn, bó ti lè jẹ́ pé a máa dúró de professor wa láti lè join wa, bóyá ọ̀rọ̀ technology ló ṣe bákanbàkan níbi tí wọ́n wà, gbogbo wa náà la mọ̀.
Recording in progress.
Ẹ má jẹ́ kẹ́rù báyìí. Gbogbo ìtẹ́ rí pé à ń rìkọ́ọ̀dì yẹn kí a lè fi ní rẹ́kọ́ọ̀dì àwọn nǹkan tá à ń ṣe yìí lọ́wọ́ ni. Àwa ni à ń ṣe láti ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn atọ́kùn wa. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ṣé Professor Ayọ̀dèjì ti join wa? Okay, ó dà pé àti rí àwọn professor wa kún join. Ní ṣókí àátúrọ láti fi àkókò ṣòfò, à á lọ sí àwọn ìtókàn nínú àwọn ètò wa. Lẹ́yìn yẹn, àwa jẹ́ kí àwa padà sí orí professor wa tí wọ́n bá ti lè join wa nígbà yẹn. Ẹ bá wa queue fún visual documentary láti ọ̀dọ̀ Akàngun Ọlákànyìn Franklin. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ tí ẹ bá ti ní documentary yẹn tó ti ready, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ sà so that kí a lè bẹ̀rẹ̀.
Hello, Dr. Kolomo. Please make me the host, please.
Ó dà pé Erelu ni host.
Carry on.
Hello, Dr. Kolomo.
Yes, Akolo, you are the host.
Not yet. What is this?
I think someone's sharing their screen. Someone is trying to share the screen to play the music or something. So just bear with that, I think.
I'm seeing I'm seeing Professor Ayọ̀dèjì's screen. Professor, is that you?
Is AY citizen AY, not Professor.
That's not me. The picture was just me briefly, but it's just me speaking now. But the professor is the one with the screen there.
Yeah, I saw Professor.
Professor Ayọ̀dèjì is trying to come in, moderator.
Okay.
I just spoke with him now. He's trying to come in.
Okay.
It's in the program already.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Akàngun Franklin, bóyá ká hold on, ká wò bóyá tún lè gbé Professor wọlé sir. Ẹ má bínú fún ètò yẹn bóyá lọ. Professor, are you on, sir?
I think the screen showing on our screen is from a view from Orun. Abana Nation screen. Who is that person?
Who is Akila?
Akinla family reunion is the host. I am not the host yet.
Yeah, okay. Can you transfer the host back to Yoruba One Voice? Mr. Akinla.
I don't know even if he knows he's the host.
Dr. Kalama, you can take it back from him because you are the host. You can take it back from him.
No, he won't be able to.
Reunion or something. Yes.
Professor.
You cannot even hear me.
Okay, moderator, Professor Ayodeji Agbojumi ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn.
Then,
so
Professor,
what's the problem? Professor, kí ni problem?
Akila family reunion. Can you transfer the host, please?
So I would let me. I'm asking my friend to put it down for me now.
Akinla reunion.
Okay.
Mr. Akila, can you transfer the host back to Yoruba One Voice, please?
I said I don't know how I became the host, so I'm trying to rectify that.
Yeah, just click on
your name. Go on the participant.
I should click on what?
Your name.
Can we select one person to do it to
okay. Then I do what?
Then press on Akogun. Make Akogun the host, please.
Akogun.
Okay.
Akogun Olakanyi.
Or Franklin CMT.
No. Akogun Olakanyi.
Okay, Akogun, yeah.
Okay.
There is still a screen share going on. If you permit me just to highlight to people, we've got a screen share going on.
Can we just let's recover the host from him first.
I'm trying to check.
Apologies for all these technical challenges we're facing. As we continue to solve that problem, we hope that you will bear with us and actually stay tuned. Thank you.
Mr. Akila, what you need to do, you click.
I cannot see Akogun here. I can see Yoruba One Voice.
Send it to Yoruba One Voice. Send it to Yoruba One
Voice. The host then.
I should send it to Yoruba One Voice, right?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay. Done.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to before Professor Agbojimi, let's go to the next agenda, maybe documentary, please.
Yoruba One Voice.
Okay.
At the host now.
Videos. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you for the quick resolution to that problem. Yoruba One Voice, please send the host to Akogun Olakanyi so that we'll go through the documentary while Professor is resolving the technical difficulties at his own end.
How about you, Professor?
Please, everybody mute your microphone again. Thank you so much. Akogun, do you have the host?
Yeah, Akogun is the host now.
Akogun, do you have it with you?
Why is it rejecting?
Why are we having screen share from some people?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is
Akogun Olakoyi Franklin. I'm the organizing secretary of Yoruba One Voice Worldwide. I am pleased to present to you Yoruba One Voice documentary to enable us to learn more about Yoruba culture, history, YOV achievements, and the reasons why the coalition group was founded. Please stay tuned.
A new day is dawning in Nigeria, most especially in Yoruba land. The clamor is stronger. The drumbeat goes from state to state and city to city. From the brown roof city, pace-setter state of Oyo, to the sunshine state of Ondo, land of virtue in Osun, the land of harmony, Kwara, to the confluence state, Kogi, through the gateway state, Ogun, to Ekiti state, land of honor and integrity, up to the center of excellence, Lagos state. The clarion call can be heard as Yoruba One Voice worldwide demand for an independent statehood of Yoruba nation.
Yoruba One Voice is a coalition of about 63 organizations. And it's a group that brought various social-cultural groups in diaspora together to champion the cause of the Yoruba people and to champion the welfare of the Yoruba people, to deliver the Yoruba people from the shackle of oppressors on the basis of liberation.
Mo ti pe host yẹn sìn, mo ti fẹ́ sọ fún host yẹn.
Akogun, we seem to have lost the documentary. If you are there, we seem to have lost it. Hello, Akogun, we lost the documentary. Are you going to start again or are you going to join from the middle?
Can you hear me now, please?
We can hear you, but we cannot see your screen share anymore.
Okay, please hold on.
Akogun, can you please let people in and the waiting room, please?
When I'm sharing, can you hear me? I attend to anything. If you call me, then I won't be able to share anything anymore.
Okay, boya kesare jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn more people wọlé ká tó continue then.
Admit all. Admit once wọlé.
Okay, good.
Kíni fídíò tí ẹ bá ti ń lọ, tẹ́ bá ti pè mí wọlé, ó máa tún lọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ padà ni.
Oh, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Benny.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
good evening, everyone.
We're trying to get it solved and get the technical issues resolved.
Please mute your microphone as you join. We are in process of programming right now, and we are going to the documentary.
Most especially in Yoruba land, the clamor is stronger. Drumbeat goes from state to state and city to city. From the brown roof city, pace-setter state of Oyo, to the sunshine state of Ondo, land of virtue in Osun, the land of harmony, Kwara, to the confluence state, Kogi, through the gateway state, Ogun, to Ekiti state, land of honor and integrity, up to the center of excellence, Lagos state. The clarion call can be heard as Yoruba One Voice worldwide demand for an independent state of Yoruba nation.
Yoruba One Voice is a coalition of about 63 organizations, and it's a group that brought various social-cultural groups in diaspora together to champion the cause of the Yoruba people and to champion the welfare of the Yoruba people, to deliver the Yoruba people from the shackle of oppressors on the basis of liberation and emancipation of the Yoruba people.
Yoruba One Voice is a humanitarian and charity organization that will take Yoruba out of doldrum.
It was formed to showcase our cultural values, to showcase our heritage, to showcase our identity, and to bring us back to our grassroots. It was formed to defend our people back home from the killings, from the kidnappings, from the disguised headsmen, and from the suffering in Yoruba land.
Yoruba One Voice Worldwide represents a broad spectrum of Yoruba people comprising of opinion and community leaders, intelligentsia, professionals, business owners, working class, and students residing both in Nigeria and diaspora. Who are the initiators? The Yoruba nation inhabits the western area of Nigeria: Oyo, Ondo, Kwara, Kogi, Osun, Ogun, Ekiti, and Lagos states. The Yoruba people constitute around 35 million people in Africa and have strong presence in Western African countries like Benin Republic, Togo, as well as in North American countries like Brazil, Cuba, Jamaica, to mention a few. But the vast majority of Yoruba population is from Nigeria. Yoruba as a tribe, the cultures, impact of Yoruba people to Nigeria as a nation.
Yoruba is one of the most intelligent black product and one of the most intelligent tribes or ethnic nationalities in the whole world, because our thinking psychologically is more higher and we are very organized.
The Yorubas are a proud people. They are a people of culture. And I like it when we say Oduduwa, Odu, Tiodaiwa. We love to associate with culture. We love to associate with lofty ideas. We love to associate with good things. We believe in the Omoluabi concept.
We know Omoluabi principle is based on integrity, probity, accountability, and of course, transparency in whatever we do.
Yoruba culture is one of the best in the world. It's just unequivocally speaking, it's one of the best in the world in terms of greetings, in terms of courtesy, in terms of character, in terms of awareness.
In phone in 1500 now on display.
Comrade, sir. Excuse me, sir. Ever so very proud of their empire, the British Empire.
Honorable Chief.
Yes.
Discovered that since your appointment, you know,
last 605 years that the British Empire lasted for. So that is who we are. The Alaafin was ruling from the River Niger to the Volta River in Ghana.
Our empires were great. We say things like, Omodegbon, Agbagbon, Lafida Lefe. So even in your family, you would have young people that were, there were prodigies, and you would honor and respect them because they spoke for the gods.
There is a song. When Alaafin Abiodun was on the throne, and I'm talking about 1750. Láyé Olúgbọ́n, mo kéborùn méje, a ò máa fìwé lórin. Láyé Àrẹ̀sà, mo kéborùn mẹ́fà, a ò máa fìwé lórin. Láyé Àtàndá Adégoolú Abíọ́dún, èmi ra kókò mo re pìnrìn mo ra sányán bàbá aṣọ àfọ̀lẹ́ ló lè pé ìlú odò àfọ̀lẹ́. The implication of who we are is in that song. 1750, Sanyo, Koko, Aron. These are satin, velvet. That was what we were wearing. 1750.
In fact, you had more than 2 jobs. The agricultural system was at 2 levels. We had the subsistence farming Oko Aroje. We had Oko Etile, which has some level of providing food for you, and we now had Okwegan, where you employed other people to work for you, which was your economic space. Then, individually, you had the artistic, creative part of you. All the women knew how to weave hair. They were involved in dyeing. They were involved in weaving clothing that their children would use. That was one. The women were involved in trading, trans-Saharan trades. Women were involved in those. Children had things to manufacture, even as kids. They had defined roles within communities. What else do you need to build prosperity?
Why the agitation for Yoruba nation?
Well, I think when we trace our historical background on how we got our independence since 1960, you will realize that our federalism have been tampered with. Our federation have been tampered with. And the constitution that brought about the independence was an agreement from our political leader by then that we should be together as a country on the basis of federation, on the basis of federalism, which all the regions can develop at their own pace, and which all the ethnic nationalities will have an equal right as a citizen of this nation.
The Fulanis, they've been coming to kill, to maim without impunity in Yoruba land. This has caused a lot of problems to us, and it's part of the reason why we are asking to move out of Nigeria and have our own self-determination.
Lórí ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn Fúlàní, gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní lórílẹ̀-èdè wa yìí, so ọkàn wọn ò balẹ̀ rárá lórí ẹ̀, torútorú, tọ̀sán-tọ̀sán, tí alálẹ̀ gbogbo everything, ọkàn wọn ò balẹ̀, tá a bá gbọ́ pa àyè báyìí àti ẹ̀mọ́ ibi tá a ti ẹ̀ sá lọ.
Àwọn ọmọ wà káàkiri, ọkàn wọn ò balẹ̀ lórí wọn. Àtẹ̀wé àwọn tá a tó ń jọ lórí abáyé nísìn.
Gbogbo bí nǹkan ṣe wọ́n, gààrí wọ́n, ẹ̀wà wọ́n, ráìsì wọ́n, so èrè wọ́n, gbogbo ẹ̀ wọ́n lóríṣiríṣi, gbogbo ẹ̀ àfẹ́ gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe wọ́n yìí ọkàn wọn ò balẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀ rárá.
What we notice is that some region believe in a good leadership. Some region did not believe in good leadership. Some region believe it's ours, either it's corrupt or not, we are ready to push him to be the leader. And some region believe that they use their religion as an influence to get what they want within the complex of Nigeria. And they normally have a support from Arab country.
He has failed us, particularly because he has divided Nigeria along ethnic lines. When President Obasanjo was there were a few things that happened and which affected the security of the people, lives and property, which were put right in the corner of the Oduduwa People's Congress, OPC. And he gave orders, even another of shoot on sight on Iba Gani Adams. That was a Yoruba man who did not think it's about being a Yoruba, but it was thinking about, I am elected to fix a problem. The same thing when President Jonathan was there. His people were busy in the Niger Delta, disrupting the flow of oil and the rest of it. That was a huge problem, and he fixed it. But look at this president. Every corner you see foreigners. You see all these killers. Every day they bring them with truckloads into our area. As at the last count, there were about 3,328 Fulani cells in our forests.
We can no longer travel on our highways. We can no longer sleep with our two eyes closed. Everyone is living in fear in our own land, in our father's land. And we call ourselves one Nigeria. Where is the one Nigeria?
We realize that the Fulani oligarchy have turned us to second-class citizens of Nigeria. But unfortunately, not day by day, year by years, we realize that we are snowballed into unitary system of government. And we finally realized before we agree that even devolution of power to federalism cannot solve our problem again, that we must have our total liberation on the basis of self-determination on intellectual way.
It is within the Charter of the United Nations that you can seek for self-determination as an indigenous people. In fact, the United Nations has 5 organs, 5 different directorates or departments, if you will, that deal with the issues of indigenous people who want to stand on their own.
There is no nation that can attain its full potential in another country. Nigeria is just a mere geographical expression.
We can no longer suffer working so hard to drive the engine of this nation, and our professor is vice to a man that has no degree. Our Ganifawa Emi is murdered. Our Kashima Wabiola is killed and denied presidency. Think about it. We have always given quality people to this nation, and we got nothing back. We have a nation to fight for.
Why the Yoruba nation must emerge.
My belief in the Yoruba race goes beyond just the mere fact that I'm a Yoruba person. It is because, unlike some other tribes or ethnicity that migrated to these parts, we evolved here. In which case, we evolved in situ in this land. It's our own land. And those that are scholars and anthropologists, science too, has actually proven that the Yoruba were the very first to live in these parts. Because of all the human fossils found even in West Africa, the one they found at a place called Ihueleru, the bones that were discovered there, scholars from University of Birmingham in 1956, they came and by carbon dating asserted equivocally that the bones were about 15,000 years old. And the DNA conducted on those bones, they match the DNA of the Yoruba people as at today. In which case, those bones belong to our ancestors. We had ancestors as far back as 15,000 years ago. And that is the point where we've been trying to make to certain people that we are not just going to roll over dead. So those who goes to this realm, it's going to happen. So we are here, and we are not going to be driven away from our land.
The issue of for the past 4 years in Yoruba land diminish day by day. To their farm anymore because of the issue of security threats, because of the rampaging activities of the Fulani herdsmen.
even planning to take over our community and lands. And we realize from our intelligence report that some powerful countries are behind these threats, written down by the government in power. Because anytime we complain to the government in power, they are not ready to do anything to stop these anomalies and criminal activities.
Federal characters does not exist in Nigeria anymore. The best position goes to the Northerners, and the remnants comes to Yoruba land. When they need a position of power, they will canvass the Yorubas to support them. The minute they get what they want, the next thing is to dump the Yoruba. They use us, and then they dump us. They treat us like a second-class citizen.
Everything wrong with Nigeria. No electricity, no water, no education, no nothing, no nothing, no nothing, no nothing. We are just empty, and we are dying every day in the midst of plenty.
Our people cannot even afford to get 1 square meal, talk less of 3 square meal. So everything is zero.
Any nation that is not providing security, that is males.
The admin is not having people, and you can see the number of people
is not survive.
People are complaining.
Our future is in our own hands. We won't take law into our hands. We fight this battle.
Only one. Why is it only one? Why not
Cabinet of these oppressors.
Social justice system will be the order of the day. It's to be a nation where no one is oppressed. And it's our duty as Yoruba people, as Oduduwa people, to ensure that all
àwọn èèyàn complain wọ́n send message to me pé wọ́n admin kí ni ẹ̀dẹ̀ àwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ ń lọ báwo ni wọ́n ní sùúrù.
forces to put a good government in place when we have our nation, to have ethical leaders, people who go to the rule of law, people who are ready for accountability. That's what the nation is going to be about.
The methods to achieve this aim and success so far.
Well, it's a process. What we are doing right now is to convince our elites. Because we are talking about the Yoruba nation, majority of our people haven't keyed into it. They have not keyed to it. And we are trying to sensitize them in intellectual way, in a language that the elite understand. Because even the grassroots supported Yoruba nation. If the elite is not key into it, we will run into problems.
We are going to collaborate all the effort our top class professionals all over the world. Our businessmen, our technocrats, and our academicians to build that nation that we dream of, Oduduwa nation, Yoruba land.
It is not a static way of actualizing it. There are different ways.
The Yoruba are called the Adubuleja.
So the approach of Yoruba One Voice is to operate on the basis of intellectual way to liberate our people. And at the same time, we are not saying we are writing the other side off. That will be the last result of the struggle. So we have our approach in 3 different categories.
Some have gone to war, guerrilla warfare and all the rest. Some have succeeded through referendum, and some have succeeded through other means.
Before you can say you have a Yoruba nation, you have to convince Yoruba people that where we are going, are we not going to run into trouble? Where we are going, are we not going to turn into a poor nation? Where we are going, are we not going to be in more crisis than Nigeria? All those things have to be corrected by enlightening them through conference. You can't just Yoruba is not you can't. You have to convince Yoruba that you are going to swim to fresh water, and we use that water to cook. And this water will not be dirty. If you don't convince them well, they won't go to that stream.
You need to arouse the interest of the global world, aspiration. And the best way you can do is to go through rallies.
On October 1st, 2020, Yoruba One Voice was at the forefront of the rally that we had all over the world. We had rally in 140 countries in 6 continents.
We have right to call for our new nation, the Yoruba nation. And we are doing it peacefully. We are not hooligans, so we we are trying our best to engage with international and foreign bodies like the United Nations, the US Congress, the European Union, and all the Commonwealth offices in the whole world. By doing this, we believe we will achieve our aims and objectives. We will achieve our goals. Is a lasting solution.
What we are doing is to sensitize our people to work on the basis of stages. We go to the second stages. Our roadmap to a way and intellectual way.
The vision towards a in Yoruba land, while the aim to establish Yoruba nation where there is no discrimination in any shape, including the elimination of all threats to lives, livelihood, properties, citizens, residents, visitors. Ensure that all citizens, residents, and visitors are treated fairly, equally, justly, and humanely. Call for volunteers, donations, members.
Where is a group of self-sponsor? The affiliated organization with the members contribute to the success of everything we are doing. And this is a group that people contributed thousands of dollars to make sure the actualization of the Yoruba nation, not on individual way. Any meaningful Yoruba who believe in the way for Yoruba support us. Anyway, I believe in that spirit.
Together, we can.
Yoruba One Voice. Happy first year anniversary.
I wish us more wisdom, more strength, more success.
I wish every member of YOV a prosperous year.
And I want to use this opportunity to appreciate our global convener in person of Iba Gani Abiodun Adams, the 15th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land. And I want to appreciate every single one of you that are here today. Most importantly, our guest speakers. Thank you for gracing this important first anniversary of Yoruba One Voice.
Oduduwa Agbewa o.
Thank you so much for that important documentary. It does capture a lot. I'm going to implore everybody, please mute everybody again. Our host.
Please, can I just come in? From my own point of view, if you are part of us in this meeting, kindly mute yourself. It's not fair that you are disrupting us. We are begging of you. Thank you very much.
Eshegoma. Akogun Ejo, àwọn èèyàn wà ní lobby, ẹ bá wa admit everybody, sir.
Mo ti admit gbogbo wọn wọlé.
Tẹ́ bá ti wá admit wọn wọlé, ẹ bá wa wá Professor Ayodeji bóyá wọ́n ti wà on, kẹ́ bá wa transfer our host sí wọn.
Noted. Participant.
Mute ara yín.
Baba Mark, ẹ bá wa mute ara yín.
Ẹ máa wo microphone all the time.
We are begging of you. This is not nice.
A mọ̀ pé àwọn èèyàn wa wọn gbà mí accidentally ló máa ń ṣe, but ẹ máa check kí ni microphone yẹn all the time. Akogun, go ahead. What did you say?
Professor Ayodeji ti sin sir. Thank you all for watching.
Oh no, thank you for putting this together and sharing with everybody. It was quite
without our brilliant mind, without the brilliant mind of the Yoruba journalism. You are
expecting a big request by.
May your days be.
Documentary,
everyone and God bless.
Yeah.
mo ti admit gbogbo àwọn tó wà níbẹ̀ yẹn.
Okay, hold on, kẹ́ máa bá wa ṣọ́tí Professor Ayodeji bá wọlé.
Professor Ayodeji, we only have a Professor Ojo, Professor Bidemi Fabumi, and a Professor Didactic or something. No any other professor here.
Professor Ayodeji, if you are already on the platform, could you please signify and let us know which name you're using on the platform? Thank you, sir.
Who is Professor Didactic?
We have only 3 professors here.
There's a Professor Didactic.
Just remember. Now, Professor Ayodeji has messaged me. He said he's been trying to come in. And I think our father Iba has been trying to contact him. He's been trying to come in during the documentary. So we should give him, if you can move forward, and then when he comes, probably to move to the next stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Unfortunately, we have to take one speaker because the next stage is question and answer, and we need to have the speech before the question and answer. So I don't know if he's...
If the second speaker is around, take him off, please.
Exactly.
If the second speaker.
Hello?
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 Hello,
Can you
we
hear
can
me?
hear you, sir. We can hear you, sir. Who's speaking, sir?
This is how you are acknowledging me.
Sir. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been expecting you. We're sorry for the delay. While the documentary was on, we could not admit anybody. Apologies.
Thank you very much.
Apologies. We implore Mr. Awul, people who have their microphone unmuted, can you please put your microphone on mute, please? Host, can you mute everybody again? And then Professor will mute himself. Professor, please go ahead and unmute yourself. Professor Ayodeji Agbonjimi. Professor, are you there? Unmute yourself, Professor Agbonjimi. Technology is only great when it's working for you, and there are many things that we have learned from this event, and we will surely be putting them into perspective next time. Professor Ayodeji, are you on? We seem to have lost the professor again. Professor, you need to unmute your microphone, sir.
Hello?
Hello, sir. We can hear you very well, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Somebody needs to lower the camera, sir, so that we can see your face.
Thank you. If you can hear me now, let me just proceed with the lecture.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Welcome, sir. We've done your introduction already, so you can just proceed, sir. Sir. Can you hear me, sir? Professor.
Hello.
Professor, we can hear you and we can see you. We can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Hello. Because I can't hear. Hello.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Prof, we can hear you, sir. We can hear you, Prof.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Well, the title of this presentation, having observed all protocols,
Is Nigeria an experiment in impossibility and roadmap to Yoruba self-determination? I have an epigram which reads, I admire the dreams of the future more than the history of the past. This epigram is credited to the former, one of the leading lights of the American society, Thomas Jefferson. The epigram above is credited to one of the founding fathers of the United States of America, Thomas Jefferson. This state of the minds of many Yoruba people. Yes, millions of Yoruba people admire the dreams of the future in Oduduwa Republic more than the history of the post-colonial Lugadian estate called Nigeria. The agitation for Oduduwa Republic is worldwide, and the struggle for it is led by many individuals and organizations, with Emeritus Professor Banji Akintoye commanding the intellectual front of the struggle. Title of presentation, I've said out before, the title of this presentation has a prefix, which is Nigeria, and two limbs. The first limb is an experiment in impossibility. By this, I mean the making of a perfect union in Nigeria is an impossible task. The second limb is the roadmap for Yoruba self-determination, an experiment in impossibility. Elementary chemistry taught us that the making of a perfect solution requires a solute and a solvent. The making of Nigeria by the amalgamation of Southern and Northern protectorates of Nigeria on January 1st, 1914, was an attempt by the British colonialists to make a perfect solution by mixing oil with water. That is a mirage, as oil is not soluble in water. And since 1914 to date, every attempt to achieve a perfect union has come to naught. The colonialists know that people of the Southern Protectorate are significantly different from people of the Northern Protectorate, as day is different from night. The differences between the two protectorates were known to the chief architect of the 1914 amalgamation, Sir Frederick Lord Lugard. For instance, Lugard described the three major tribes in Nigeria in a handover note he wrote on the 25th of September, 1918 to Walter H. Lang.
Is that a tribe?
Lugard stated, and I quote in extensus, no ambition, save such as essential in character. Spendthrift and a gambler. He is gravely immoral and is seriously deceived that he is a menace to any community to which he seeks to attach himself. The people of Lagos, and indeed the Westerners, are the lowest, the most seditious, and disloyal. Most purely prompted by self-seeking money motives of any people I have met. The Igbo of the Eastern Nigeria are fiercely rebellious with no regard for authority. though industrious and religious, in difference to the objectives of Her Majesty and the Crown, they are highly dangerous to be trusted with power. The pertinent question to ask is if Lord Lugard really meant what he said about the divergent characteristics of the three major tribes or ethnic nationalities in Niger area, why did he bring them together to form a country? The reason for the social construction of Nigeria. Eric Teniola, in his article titled The Mistake of 1914, succinctly captured the reason for the 1914 amalgamation by stating that Nigerians looking for deeper meaning for their country's existence may be disappointed to find that there was none, as the country's existence is little more than the outcome of balancing the colonial accounting books.
Underground, please.
This reason was confirmed by Lord Lugard in his report to the amalgamation of northern and southern Nigeria.
Professor, you have been muted. Unfortunately, please host when someone is speaking, don't mute all, please. The professor is muted.
A further step in amalgamation was effected in the south. Southern Nigeria and Lagos became an administration under the title of the colony and protectorate of Southern Nigeria. From this stage, the material prosperity of South with astonishing
there is interruption. Someone is speaking Arabic at the background.
In 1901 to 3 shillings 6 pence in 1905, stood at 5 shillings 6 pence a gallon in 1912. And
sorry, there's someone speaking.
Iba said, remove that person.
Afforded and never increasing revenue without any diminution in the quantity imported. They needed a sum of £1 million, 138,000. The North, largely dependent on the annual grants from the imperial government, was largely able to balance the budget with the most parsimonious economy and was starved of the necessary staff and unable to find funds to house its officers properly. Its energies were contracted. We are concentrated upon the development of the native administration and the revenue resulting from direct taxation. Its distance from the coast, 50 miles, rendered the expansion of trade difficult. Thus, the anomaly was presented if a country with an aggregate revenue practically equal to its need, but divided into two by an arbitrary line of latitude. One portion was dependent on a grant paid by the British, which in the year before amalgamation stood at £6,000 and had averaged £314,500 for 11 years ending in March. It is obvious from the above quotation that the 1914 amalgamation was effected so that British taxpayers will no longer give a yearly grant of £314,500 to Northern Protectorate. Having amalgamated the two protectorates, the organizing principle was divide and rule. Lugard stated, I have now explained generally the system of indirect rule by the British. The resident and his staff advising the emir in the Muslim countries and exercising more direct authority in the pagan countries. This was classical British. Divide et imperial. Legal instrument and procedure of amalgamation. Nigeria is created by order, Nigerian Protectorate Order in Council 1913, during the reign of His Majesty King George V, on the 22nd day of November 1913. The 1913 order in Council has 13 preambular paragraphs. The order states, and I quote, this order shall apply to the territories of Africa, which are bounded on the north on the south by the Atlantic Ocean, on the west, north and northeast by the line of the frontiers between the British and French territories, and on the east by the frontiers between the British and German territories. Provided always that some part of the territory so bounded as are within the portion of His Majesty's dominion, which is known as the colony of Nigeria, shall not be included within the limit of this order. The territories within the limits of this order shall be known and described as the Protectorate of Nigeria. The order provided entirely that it shall come into operation on the 1st day of January 1914. Coming into force, the amalgamation order repealed about 4 or 5 existing orders. Having set out the date for amalgamation, the British Secretary for the Colonies, Lord Louis Bacon Accord, after which the city of Port Harcourt was named, announced gleefully in 1913 that, and I quote, we have released the northern Nigerian from the leading strings of the British Treasury. The promising and well-conducted youth is now on an allowance on its own and is about to effect an alliance with a southern lady of me. I have issued a special license and Sir Frederick Lugard will perform the ceremony. May the union be fruitful and the couple constant. You can see the way the north was described. The north described as the groom and the south as the bride. And you know in marriage in those days, the head is the husband is the head. On January 1st, 1914, the two protectorates were formally amalgamated with befitting ceremonies. After the oaths of office have been taken at each capital, that is Lagos and Zungeru, by the Governor General, the Lieutenant Governors, and the Chief Justice, a Doba was held on the Great Plain at Kano, which was attended by all the chief Muslims, rulers from Sokoto to Chad, who met for the first time in common friendship to swear allegiance to His Majesty and by representatives of the principal pagan tribes. From the narrative so far, the 1914 amalgamation was principally carried out for the benefit of the North. This is why the amalgamation is described as extremely selfish, myopic, and immoral. As the situation now changed, for ethnic nationalities in the southern Nigeria, the answer is capital no. Eric, torí
mo wà lórí Oduduwa mani. Oduduwa
ni. Coach in extenso as well. But his opinion in the relevant to present, and his opinion is relevant to the present dysfunctional state in post-colonial Nigeria. I quote, the 1914 amalgamation and the fault lines between the North and the South remain among the most contentious issues in modern Nigeria. More than 106 years after amalgamation, the wisdom of this step is still being debated in Nigeria. And the country continues to grapple with how to deal with the divisions between the North and the South. And the mutual paranoia they have about each other. The most spectacular eruption of instability in Nigeria have emerged on a north-south basis. The military coups of 1966, the civil war of 1967 to 1970, the annulment of the presidential election of June 12th, and the extreme political crisis generated, and the crisis over Sharia law in the early 2000s. Each of these controversies has polarized the country on north-south line. The Civil War, which commenced represented one of the many attempts to repeal the 1914 amalgamation. The North has also threatened to succeed in 1953 and 1950. It is perhaps not surprising that conflict would arise in this manner. It was difficult to build patriotism reality, a country created by foreign invaders and inhabited by people whose ground realities have never extended beyond their family, village, or kingdom. Many political leaders from the North, though favored by the British colonialists, were opposed to the amalgamation. For example, at the inauguration of the Richard Constitution in 1947, Alhaji Tafawa Balewa, who later became the first Prime Minister of Nigeria at independence, was reported as saying, and I quote, "We do not want, sir, our southern neighbors to interfere in our development. I would like to make it clear to you that if the British quitted Nigeria now at this stage, the northern people will continue uninterrupted conquest to the sea." In the same way, in a speech in 1952, in the Northern House of Assembly, Kaduna, Balewa was reported to have stated, "The southern people were swarming into this region in Delhi in large number. They are really intruders. We don't want them, and they are not welcome in the North. Since the amalgamation of 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country. But the Nigerian people are different in every way, including religion, custom, language, and aspiration. The fact that we are all Africans might have misguided the British government. Now, take it. Nigerian unity is not for us. That was Tafawa Balewa. The fragile nature of Nigeria was glaringly revealed by the Macpherson Constitution that brought the North and the South together for political discourse for the first time. It was alleged that northern politicians were maltreated in Lagos in 1953 for opposing the independence motion moved by Chief Anthony Enahu. Alhaji Ahmadu Bello, the Sadana of Sokoto, and the leader of the Northern People's Congress, retorted, the mistake of 1914 has come to light. He stated further, Lord God and the amalgamation were far from popular among us at that time. There were agitations in favor of secession. We set up on our own. We should cease to have any more to do with the Southern people. We should take our own way. The North has symbolically dipped the Quran in the Atlantic Ocean in Lagos to fulfill the late Balewa's wish. The major road from Bonica to Kuramo Lake in Lagos, adjacent to the Babi, is named Ahmadu Bello Way. All the North has to do is go to the beach and dip the Quran into the Atlantic Ocean. Shortly after Nigeria's independence on October 1st, 1960, to be precise, 11 days after, Ahmadu Bello, the leader of the Northern People's Congress and the premier of the Northern region, was quoted as saying in the defunct Parrot newspaper, the new nation be, sorry please, the new nation should be an estate of our great grandfather of Mandalfodi. We must ruthlessly prevent a change of power. We use the minorities in the North as willing tools and the South as a conquered territory, and never allow them to rule over us, and never allow them to have control over their future. That was Ahmadu Bello on the 10th of October, 1960. This Ahmadu Bello vision is what his people, the Fulani, using the military, have executed with great effectiveness since July 29, 1966, when Northern soldiers successfully installed a 32-year-old Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gawa as Nigerian military head of state. This singular act converted the Nigerian army to Northern Nigerian army and Nigeria to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is clear that one of the consequences of the 1914 amalgamation is lack of consensus among the political and military elite in Nigeria. For example, there are discordant notes between the Southern and Northern elites on restructuring, self-determination, and not laughable, but a serious one, Katuriani. So a few months after independence, the two political heavyweights from the North, Ahmadu Bello, the Northern Premier, and Tafawa Balewa, the Prime Minister, with the tacit support of Nnamdi Azikiwe, then Governor and later President of Nigeria, displayed unconstituted hatred for Obafemi. This hatred between 1961 and 1964. Between 1961 and 1966, and I quote, "Our political life in that interval, that is 61 to 66, may be simply described as a deliberate and very open and vocal resistance against what he himself often referred to as the Hausa Fulani feudalism and oligarchy. For this, he had self-observed and suffered all sorts of persecution and imprisonment. In order to persuade him away from this act of refusal of local, internal Nigerian neocolonialism, he himself had observed that they had promised him deputy governors positions and even some future short-term loan rulership of the country, as Obasanjo eventually apparently enjoyed for 8 years. If you left to everyone's reasoning capacity, now to find out factually whether July 1966 counter coup and the continuing recolonization of Nigeria by the same Sokoto Caliphate Islamic oligarchy is not what we had up to date since then. I would say rather that's the position. It is left to conclude that Nigeria has been fighting a war of attrition prior to independence and now. The wars going on in Nigeria. There are many theaters of war in Nigeria. However, within the context of discussion, I will limit this discussion between the North and the East and between the North and the West, as the North pursues the blood vision that Amadu Bello expressed in the Pirate newspaper. I will classify the war between the North and the Southeast as hot war, and that between the North and the Southwest as cold war, which has now moved to hot war. The North and South is hot war. Example of this hot war is the 1966-1970 war and the Nigerian Army Python dance that has now moved to asymmetrical war between indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra, MASO. Asymmetrical war can be protracted, as shown by the Boko Haram insurgents in the Northeast. The North and the Southwest Cold War turned upward. My intention here is to didactically express the Cold War, which has now moved into hot war that necessitated the call for Yoruba self-determination. The evidence of this overflow. Please, kindly follow me. Who was the only nationalist and premier in Nigeria that go to prison? The answer, Chief Obafemi Awolowo in Yoruba. Who is the only former military and civilian head of state to go to prison? Answer, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo in Yoruba. Who is the only Inspector General of Police to have a funky ride in the Black Maria? Answer, Lafa Balogun, a Yoruba. Who is the only Chief of Defense Staff to be sentenced to death in Nigeria? Answer, General Ladipo Dia, a Yoruba man. Name the 3 army generals that prostrated to a northern major. Answer, General Ladipo Dia, General Tajuddin Alaniwaju, and General Abdul Karim Adisa. Who was the only Nigeria whose presidential mandate was annulled? Answer, Chief Moshood K. Abiola, a Yoruba man. I consider the above as testing the Yoruba resolve to stand up to discrimination, inequality, and injustice. The new sheriff in town is an ultra-feudalist and Fulani Jingoy. He has completely mismanaged a country that is ab initio distressed. Not few people now describe Nigeria in a derogatory manner. Fatai opines that Nigeria, as currently configured, is a living lie and a seminal order to its trapped and disoriented citizens. So further, The painful thing about this development is that the battle for the soul of the nation will no longer be restricted to its territorial scope. Where national mediation fails, international arbitration must surely follow.
Oh.
This is the Pandora box of post-colonial nations with disparate and mutually unintelligible nationalities, hastily and clumsily glued together to form an incoherent pattern of dormant and active political volcanoes that litter the African continent. In the same way, Abdulrahim opined that it does not require any special gift of discernment to see that all is not well with our country. Colonel Abubakar Imam, former governor of Sokoto State, has carpeted the Buhari-led federal government for mismanaging Nigeria's diversity. He stated further that inability of government to put an end to insurgency, banditry, and kidnapping, while injustice, lack of equity, and fairness is giving rise to the agitation by separatist groups in the country. Section 14, subsection 2, paragraph B of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria provides that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. However, life and property are no longer the primary purpose of the government in Nigeria. Sorry, please, I can't see. Predicted that with the prevailing situation of Nigeria, something will happen soon. With hunger laying siege to many households across the entire nation, with armed rebellion in the north and the east, and with a potentially destabilizing political rebellion against unitary federalism, conjoining in the volatile and combustible West, country must eventually be. The only conclusion is that Nigeria is an experiment in impossibility. That is my submission. Now, the roadmap to Yoruba self-determination. Please permit me to attenuate my submission under this link. My thought on this link is fully developed, but I need more time to flesh it out. Suffice it to say that self-determination started out as a political right that has morphed into fundamental human rights in international and regional bills of rights. Self-determination is provided for in Article 2.1 of the United Nations Charter. It is also provided for in Article 1, paragraph 1 of both International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and International Covenant on Social and Cultural Rights. Provision is made for self-determination in Article 20 of African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which by virtue of its ratification and enforcement act is part of the corpus of Nigerian law. The contentious issue is that as a political concept, it is in international law limited to states and not individual. With the almost completion of decolonization, self-determination has morphed to both group and individual rights. Generally, there are two genres of self-determination, internal and external self-determination. Internal self-determination means does not affect territorial integrity of the parent state. External self-determination results in secession, which affects the territorial integrity. However, the two concepts of sovereignty and territorial integrity are now subject to serious degradation under international human rights law. In this regard, the statement credited to Kofi Annan, former Secretary of UN, is Nabi. Nation states are not going to disappear. Iran, in the Journal of Humanitarian Intervention. Respect for fundamental sovereignty,
Device is ready to pair.
independence will remain as a cornerstone of the international system. Nevertheless, it said, the principle of sovereignty cannot provide a feeling for the inexplicable. The nation charter, the reminded people in was issued in the name of the people, not the government.
Moderator, please, the speaker is not loud like before. The guest lecturer should watch out, please. Prof, your speaker is not loud like before.
I want to do a conclusion now. I don't propose to
Galaxy 8, can you please move your microphone to the professor? We are seeing your picture. Yeah, but put your phone in front of him. He's using your microphone. Galaxy 8, put your phone in front of him.
The first roadmap is elite opposing political participation. And the second roadmap is filing petition to the African Court of Human and People's Rights. Well, the commission, that is the African Commission on People and Human and People's Rights, hold the view that when the complainant seeks to invoke Article 20 of the African Charter, it must satisfy the commission that the two conditions oppression and domination are met. So what is currently happening? I think we find those two conditions and complaint can be filed before the Human Rights Commission of Africa Charter. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Professor. Professor, we know you cannot hear us on your laptop. We know you cannot hear us on your laptop, and we are using. Oh, can you hear us, sir?
I can hear you now.
Okay, it seems you are hearing us from the phone of Galaxy 8. We believe it's beside you. So maybe you might want to use that phone to communicate with us.
I'm hearing you now from the laptop.
Okay, good. Galaxy 8, can you mute your microphone, please? Prof, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, great. That is beautiful. Thank you, sir. Galaxy 8, if you can move your microphone, if you can mute your own microphone, please. And I send that message to everybody, whether you are on the platform or you're just joining us, please mute your microphone. The moment you unmute yourself, you disturb every other thing going on. Please mute your microphone and you will hear everything well. Thank you so much. We requested for questions on the chat. We will not be taking any verbal questions. We want you to type your questions in so that we can share them with the professor and then he will provide responses to them.
Mr. Babajide, we are not hearing you, please. We are not hearing you. You have been muted, please. Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. I didn't know I was actually muted. What I said earlier was that we're not going to wait for For the questions on the chat, we're going to move to the second speaker because our time is lost already. But please send your questions in for the speech you heard from Professor Ayodeji Agbonjimi. We appreciate you, sir, for those insightful information. We're going to please cue the second speaker for us so that he can start. The second speaker is Professor Salahu Akim Shegun. He's of the Department of Linguistics and African Languages, Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Nigeria. Unfortunately, he's unavoidably absent due to some emergencies that he had to attend to. He has sent another amiable professor to deliver his speech for us, and we call on the professor representing Professor Salahu Akim, Professor Bidemi Fabumi, to please unmute himself and take over the floor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The moderator, please, can you hear me? The moderator,
yes,
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we cannot see you. Are you calling us?
Yeah, thank you very much. The moderator, the topic once again is a viable Yoruba nation, reality of a viable Yoruba nation, a reality or a myth. This lecture supposed to have been delivered by Professor Salahu Akim Shegun. I'm representing him. I'm representing Professor Salahu Akim Shegun. Once again, the topic is a viable Yoruba nation, a reality or a myth. Lecture delivered by Professor Salahu Akim Shegun. Let me go straight to the introductory aspect of this lecture. We want to appreciate the financial of this program, Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò, Ìbà Gani Abiodun Ige Adams, the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò Yoruba land, for the vision of the Yoruba unity and Yoruba nation, and for the opportunity given to hear my view for the actualization of a strong, viable, pragmatic Yoruba nation through peaceful avenue. I promise all my listeners that I will be faithful, honest, and point blank in treating this very sensitive.
You are not selfish. You are not selfish. Eh? If not that the ball now that you have a match, if your
hello, please, can you hear me?
Professor, can you hold on a second? We are going to mute everybody again and then ask you to unmute yourself. Okay, Professor? Okay. Professor, you can unmute yourself.
You are having interference because some people are crashing into this program. I think we should expel them.
It's not easy to identify those people and then expel them, but I can tell the admin to try to see if they can. If you see anybody with an open mic, please, you can remove them if you cannot unmute them. Professor.
Excuse me, please, in the setting, try and make sure that in the setting, the people cannot be able to unmute themselves. That's what you're supposed to do. Once participants are not able to unmute themselves, it will help to have sanity. Please do the settings so that the participant cannot unmute themselves. Please do that.
Thank you for your advice. Admin, I would advise if you can work on that on the background without actually muting the professor, that would be appreciated. If not, that would be an
Mr. Babajide, please, Dr. Babajide, please unmute yourself. Tell everybody, please. Please unmute yourself.
We're just waiting for one or two more speeches to be held, and there's some technical issues that's been resolved. So please do bear with us. We're trying to make sure we.
Dr. Babajide, please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. I could not unmute before. I did not have the power to unmute myself. Everybody has been put on mute. So okay, maybe this will work for us. Can you all hear me? I hope you can hear me all.
I can hear you. I'm sure everybody can as well.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you unmute the professor, please? Just give the professor the chance to unmute himself too.
Professor.
It's Professor Fabomi, Professor Bidemi Fabomi.
I'm just checking it now. Yes. All right, I've seen it here. Done.
Okay, Professor, you can unmute yourself now.
Okay, that has been done.
Okay,
thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you well, sir. Professor, can you make this speech, maybe condense it so that we get all the most vital points of it so that we can actually
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not going to the historical analysis of the origin and nomenclature. Yoruba race, because we have research works, you can consult them. We now go straight to nationhood. And from the recorded history so far, it is exactly 73 years on the 6th of June this year when the Yoruba nationhood was established and achieved. And it was achieved exactly on the 5th June 1948. When Oduduwa was formally formed at Ile-Ife under the presidency of Sir Adeyemo Alakija. And a scholar named Richardson has something to say about that the Egbe Oduduwa was a non-party, a national and an unofficial movement, and membership was by private capacity as a Yoruba man. And then if you are also a chief or a ruler, you can be a member. And then we have Oba Adeyemi, Sir Adeyemo Alakija, and Dr. Akinola Maja. They were all the promoter of Egbe Oduduwa. And the Egbe was founded to promote unity. And that unity is woefully lacking in Yoruba land as of today. And then this society operated in all towns and villages where we have native inhabitants, Yorubas, Edos, Ishekiri, all of them. Then the officers of the Egbe Oduduwa, then we have Sir Adeyemo Alakija, the president, Sir Abayomi, the treasurer, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the general secretary, Bode Thomas and H.O. Davis, the legal advisors, Isaac Delan, admin secretary, and Adeyemi, the organizing secretary. Before that time, there were different and distinct Yoruba kingdoms, such as Akoko kingdoms, Egba kingdom, Ekiti kingdom, Ife kingdom, Oyo kingdom, and what have you. These kingdoms were well structured and they have sound democratic principles, including rotational leadership.
We have lost you, Prof. I think your network is suboptimal. Can I ask our moderator to take over while we are waiting for Prof? Hello? Yeah, Dr. Babajide, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, sir. If you don't unmute me, I won't be able, if you don't give me the chance, I won't be able to.
I just realized that right now. Yeah,
I understand. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We seem to be having problem with reception from the professor. We're very sorry for these technical difficulties. We all know what it is like back in Nigeria with all those internet. I don't know if our first speaker is still around. Professor Ayodeji, if you're still around. Some questions are beginning to come in for you, sir. If you can, I can read some to you.
See, I already one bit, yes. Let me see. Let's see, here it is. Mute around.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Kelly, should the first speaker know she want better? But I can't mute or no. Only answer our questions since the second speaker is not here.
The first speaker,
Professor Agbonjimi.
the name was not indicated.
Cherry Galaxy 8 message.
Galaxy 8, okay. Let me search for that. Galaxy 8. Okay, Galaxy 8 is here. Please mute yourself. Yeah, Galaxy 8 is unmuted.
Galaxy 8, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ṣé ẹ wà pẹ̀lú Prof Agbonjimi bẹ́ẹ̀? Is Professor Agbonjimi there?
Prof?
Professor Ayodeji Agbonjimi, ṣé ṣì wà bẹ́ẹ̀ sir?
The moderator. Maybe if anybody has any question for Are while we're waiting, so maybe you can answer some of the questions.
Okay.
While we're waiting.
Okay, Are, we'll just pose these questions to you, and if any of the professors come in, they will take over from there, sir. So one question I have here is, what will be the immediate loss or losses of the Yorubas if the current tactical approach at getting liberation succeeds? And how long will it take us to recover from any loss?
Well, I'm not a soothsayer. And when we are talking of a loss in liberation, when you are fighting a cause, the first thing that gives you a very good spirit, you have to be optimistic. Optimist. You have to be an optimist person. When you are becoming so pessimist and you haven't liberated yourself, it will be very, very difficult for you to liberate yourself. In any struggle, there will always be a sacrifice. And it's very difficult for any human being to quantify that sacrifice. It's only through spiritual help by God Almighty that can quantify that sacrifice. And when there is no pain, there is no gain. But the utmost part of it is that we should be looking forward for the gain when we can have a prosperous nation that we can govern by ourselves. A nation that we can develop through our intellectual, through our potentials. A nation that we can have an arranged, well-organized security that we can be secure, our people can be secure, and investors can be secure. a race that can, a nation that can be well secure, that can encourage tourists. Because the gold mine people refuse to know in Africa is tourism. And a country that our resources can be managed by our people. We are talking of different mineral resources. And a nation that can be enable environment for our resource people to build a well-organized governance. So when you are talking of a loss, no human being can quantify a loss, even when you are in struggle and after you have liberated yourself. And what we need most now is that if you are looking at the lost, it may discourage us to liberate ourselves. The major aspect is that we should be thinking on the positive side of it, that no matter the situation, Yoruba nation must be. And what we are trying to do here, we are trying to bring our erudite scholars, the academician to the fold, because if you are doing any struggle, you don't encourage elites. If the grassroots just shouting Yoruba nation, Yoruba nation, Yoruba nation, without bringing the elites into the struggle, it will be very difficult for you to win that struggle. Because Yoruba nation beyond doing the protest in the state alone, and you must send a signal to international community that even when you have the nation, you won't put your people in trouble. And in between, allow erudite scholars to go deep about how we can realize Yoruba nation. It will give confidence to those who are fighting for the struggle that even though we have Yoruba nation, we are going to have a prosperous nation. Look at the analysis and the roadmap that was highlighted by the erudite scholar, Professor Agojimi. I believe after this lecture, we are going to get the blueprints of the lecture so that we will syndicate it through the publicity department so that the people can read the details of the lectures. And we are bringing another lecture from the University of Ife so that it can enlighten us, it can give us more strategy how we can achieve Yoruba nation. My experience is from when we were trying to promote Yoruba culture. In the earlier time of promoting Yoruba culture, there's a lot of impediment on our ways. People say that you are promoting fetish, you are promoting idol, something that have been demonized by the modern religion. But by the time we brought the academicians in various festivals to give lectures and break the advantage of ecotourism, cultural festival, our identity and our tradition, a lot of elites key into cultural promotion. The issue of demonizing our identity, our tradition, reduced drastically. And that was one of the approach that the Yoruba One Voice want to use in self-determination struggle. Because a lot of people, when you ask them what is the meaning of self-determination, they can't explain. How will you get Yoruba nation? They can't explain. Have you have a post Yoruba nation roadmap? They don't have it. And if you don't have a solid academician that can do a lot of research, even I, as your there's limits of research I can do because academic is not my profession, although I'm a political scientist by degree. But notwithstanding, those who work day by day in terms of the academic department, they have a lot of growth to offer. Now we have the first lecture in March. We brought two professors. They have given lecture about the issue of self-determination and federalism. And this time around, we are talking about the self-determination, the roadmap to self-determination. By then, we can understand what we are doing. We can be rest assured that we have a cause to champion, to be guided by the knowledgeable people, not by the high learner people who do not have strategy to attain it.
Thank you,
the Bible said, my people perish because they lack wisdom or lack knowledge. So I want your mistake be nítorí pé wọn ò ní ìmọ̀. So what we are trying to do here now is to tap knowledge from the scholars. And you can see the way the first professor is breaking it one by one. So by the time we have the submission of the second professor, I think every one of us, even though we are limited in number, we take something tangible home about the course.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We have the second professor on, but I don't know if Professor Agbonjimi is still on. Do we have Professor Agbonjimi? If not, we can go back to Professor Bidemi Fabumi. Are you still there? Can you unmute yourself? Professor, I saw him a while ago. Professor Fabumi.
Yeah, just now.
Host, can you see him?
No, I'm trying to.
Was there a minute ago? I think we lost him again. And I don't think the first speaker is still there.
Galaxy 8. Galaxy is here.
Oh, Professor Bidemi is back. Professor B, can you unmute Professor Bidemi Fabumi, please?
Okay.
Professor Fabumi, are you there? You can unmute yourself, Professor Fabumi.
Okay, Prof. Yes, okay.
Thank you very much. Okay,
Yes,
can you hear me now?
Yes, Prof, we lost you for a long time, but welcome back. It has even made the time even shorter. It has even made the time shorter. So
okay,
please,
I will do that.
Let's take the floor, sir. Oh dear. I don't think it's Professor, you're frozen. I think where you are, the service is poor, unfortunately.
And Dr. Akere, maybe we should go to the Galaxy 8 again. Maybe it's still with us.
Okay, Galaxy 8, can you unmute Galaxy 8, please?
It's unmuted already, but...
Galaxy 8, is Professor Agbonjimi still there? I don't think he's paying attention to that phone. I don't think he's paying attention.
Maybe while we are waiting, any other questions?
Oh, we have questions. We have questions here.
Okay.
I'm going to read like 2 questions so that Are, you can provide us with some answers to them. One is the question. It was originally a question for the professor. Is there any existing document called amalgamation document that talk about the expiration of Nigeria's amalgamation in 2014? That's one question. Another question, I'm going to lump it together so that we can use the time judiciously.
To answer the first question, maybe I should help Are for that. No such document exists. It's just a myth that the document, amalgamation treaty, expired 2014. It's a myth. No such document existed because we did extensive and thorough research in that regard. We couldn't lay on any.
Okay, good. I think Professor Bidemi is here, sir.
Exactly. Prof.
Professor, unmute yourself again. Professor Bidemi, unmute yourself, sir. Host, have you given him power to unmute?
Yeah, it's let me see. It was never muted at any time.
He's now muted now.
Oh, it's now okay. Let me just scroll up.
I think when he goes out and goes in,
yeah, I think so.
Professor Bidemi, you can unmute yourself.
He has not. Really, do you have his number? Call him. Call him directly, or send his number to me so we can call him.
I think he can hear us. He's just unable to unmute. unless he's given the authority. I don't think he has.
Okay, Prof. Bidden. Okay, let's see. All right. Ask him to.
Hey, I'm
okay.
unable.
Yes.
Okay, now you are muted. So sorry about that.
Hey, please. I'm unable to unmute myself earlier.
We understand, sir. We understand. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you well. We can hear you well.
Please. I'm very sorry for all these technicalities. Please, I will be very quick, please. And I'm trying to talk fast so that you hear me.
Okay, go ahead,
so
sir.
I'm talking about ways of the actualization of these dreams. But do you know that agitations, demonstrations, protests, negotiation and renegotiations, they are all peaceful means of actualizing nation, Yoruba nationhood? There are differences between liberation and rebellion. Rebellion, liberation involves problem identification and critical analysis of problems and problem solving. Even negotiation, these are part of the processes of liberation. So, because you don't treat cancer the same way you treat cough. So, when people are agitating or they are demonstrating or they are protesting, don't refer to them as rebellion. Is part of the process of a peaceful means of the actualization of the nationhood. Then let me quickly talk about democracy. I don't see democracy as defined by Americans, but I see democracy as a practical or pragmatic ways of solving your own immediate problem, so with minor casualties. So when yearly rituals of voting, electioneering, people promising you dividend of democracy, they are not indices of genuine democracy. They are not. I'm not preaching anarchy of. Look at the Chinese. The Chinese are practicing what, and they are not attached to the April spring of the Euro. They check the historical antecedents of Yoruba people. All this Yoruba kingdom. Egba kingdom or your kingdom, ancient Ife kingdom, even they all have the best of democracies. Well defined, well designed, well practiced, with no human differences or conflict. They have check and balances. We have all, even foreign scholars like Hindara, like Agi, they all testify to the intelligence and dexterity, hard work of Yoruba rulers. Then let's go on in a multicultural or multi-religious or multilingual setting like Nigeria. We can't just lump all nationalities together without considering their component peculiarities and diversities. And there's no need for any national conference again on this. We don't need any national conference again to solve this. We are of national conferences. What we need now is urgent implementation of all the resolutions of past national conferences. And about the step to take to achieve or to actualize a pragmatic, viable, and strong Yoruba nation. Number one, a total radical constitutional change, not constitutional amendment. Constitution back to 1963 Constitution and match it with the modifications and resolution from 2014 national and all these conferences. We don't need a new national conference, a wasting. No more wastage of resources. Number two, devolution of powers and fiscal federalism. The content in the exclusive list must be decomposed and reduced and put under the concurrent list for each region. For instance, the following amendments should be implemented immediately. Number one, age limit for political office seekers. Anyone who is above 60 years old should not be allowed to stand for any elective position again. Again, national resource control. Each region must be allowed to control their resources. Number three, no more federal character. Meritocracy is what is embraced and fully practiced. The principle of federal character as practiced in Nigeria today only propels and lubricates nepotism and corruption. There must be regionalism, as we have in the First Republic. The current political zone can be converted to regions based on the advice from sincere demographers, geographers, and statisticians, and other stakeholders. Proximity and other defendable and rational social variables should be employed, but religion should not be part of it. I therefore propose the creation of 9 independent regional governments from the present 6 regions and spread them in this format. Northeast, 2 regions. North Central, 2 regions. South-South, 2 regions. Southeast, 1 region. Southwest, 1 region. And Northwest, 1 region, making 9 different regions. Then there must be a sharp distinction between the state and religion. Government should not sponsor religious activities. Religion should be personal and must be controlled to reduce shenanigans, as what is being experienced in Rwanda today. There must be a conscious effort to avoid the 18th and 19th century territorial claims by different groups of Yoruba extraction. Remember, this led to a Ekiti-Parappa war, a Egba-Ijebu war, the Akoko exit, even the Ife Modaika in Brookville. All hands must be on deck to see that we have minimal human conflict in Yoruba nation among the different composite units of the Yoruba nation. We must avoid what I would term percolation of evil practices from the old national platform, because this breed greed, selfishness, and avarice. They cause division, and we must deal with that. We must equally uphold sound moral value system. And we Yorubas, we are known for that for many ages. Moral value systems. All socio-political groups, Afenifere, Renewal, Yoruba Parappa, Yoruba One Voice, Agbekoya, Yoruba Koya, Yoruba in the diaspora, and many of them, they must all come together as one Yoruba liberation body and work together in tandem with the vision of one Yoruba nation. And I want to appreciate Yoruba One Voice Worldwide. They have already caught this vision and they are actualizing it. What are the advantages or the benefits of having a viral, viable Yoruba nation? Number 1, rapid development. Rapid development. Remember when Awolowo was there, during the First Republic, under the premiership of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, many developmental firsts were recorded during Awolowo time. By Awolowo and his team, they recorded first in sport, in communication, in agriculture, in commerce, in education. We are all aware of free and compulsory education. In fact, I was one of the beneficiaries of the Unity Parties of Nigeria free education policy during the Second Republic. Then there must be conscious effort to harness and develop all human and natural resources within the Yoruba nation. For instance, we have gold in Ibokun-Ijesha zone. We have fauna and flora. We have all our trained young individuals. They have talents. They have potentials. And all these potentials should be annexed to uplift the Yoruba nation. What are the benefits? Industrialization we set in. Industrialization and modernization we come. Another benefit is that there will be end to youth. We know that one of the problems we are facing in Nigeria today is youth unemployment. Then there will be peace in Yoruba nation. If we have Yoruba nationhood, every law-abiding individual will get one thing or the other doing. And then we have a harmonious environment. And there will be relative peace. No more kidnapping. There will be no more kidnapping, no more hostage taking, and no more ransom collection. There shall be great difference and improvement in the health status of the citizenry. Presently, poverty, lawlessness, lack of peace, banditry, kidnapping have contributed to the worsening health condition of our people. The people of Yoruba nation will be able to adopt suitable legal system within their own society. Yoruba have different philosophy of life and a well thought out and flourishing value system. If we allow Yoruba nations to stand, hear what Professor Akitoye has to say on this. I quote Professor Akitoye, he says, In modern times, Yoruba people in Nigeria have exhibited a remarkable degree and quality of unity as a people. Such strong unity is engendered primarily by their common love, pride in their culture, and strong emphasis on development and modernization. And in their civilization, they have achieved many in history. It is also reinforced by their common identity with such ideals as love of freedom, love of respect for individual accountability of leadership, and even governance, even servanthood of the rulers, religious tolerance, accommodation, hospitality towards all other people, tenacity to fight for the ideals, and a unique fixation as a people of progress. Yoruba are known as people of progress. Then there will be phenomenal contribution from the Yoruba in diaspora. They will be willing to contribute their own quota, and faithfully they are going to do this. And lastly, but not the least, there shall be huge development in tourism and linguistics. Our cultural centers will be developed, and our language, Yoruba, will be empowered and supported to become the official language, just like the other serious nations of the world. Remember, language is power. The Yoruba language is part of the power and identity of the Yoruba nation. And then I want us to note this as I'm concluding. Foreign partnership in the actualization of the Yoruba nation. We need to partner with foreign bodies such as African Union, European Union, United Nations Organization in order to actualize Yoruba nation peacefully. However, we should never trust them absolutely. Why? Because they are benefiting from the present Nigerian configuration. The truth is, every wise nation keeps bilateral relations based on economic gains and political exigencies. So in conclusion, the topic is a viable Yoruba nation, reality or myth? I answer it in conclusion by saying it is an emphatic yes to a reality. So I want to thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, host, for muting me. I was doing so many sign language to say, unzip my mouth, leave my mouth, let me talk. But thank you anyways for understanding. Professor, that was brilliant. Thank you for keeping to a very short time. However, we lost our first speaker, and we are now inclined to bombard you with the questions that we have here so that you can actually offer some responses to them. I'm sure you are able to take this. Please unmute Professor Bidemi Fabumi, sir, the host. Please unmute Professor Bidemi Fabumi.
We cannot find here. This can go into room tomorrow. The literate.
Is Professor unmuted?
Prof is not here.
Professor, why it's been unmuted? These are the questions. So maybe you can note them down and then respond to them when you are unmuted. Somebody asked a question. As the situation is in Nigeria now, what is the next step you think that we should be taking in order to achieve Oduduwa nation? That's one. Another question is, should all of us get registered and ask others too? I think they're talking about voters register here. If we wouldn't, are we envisaging getting Yoruba nation this year or next? If we don't register and we disenfranchise ourselves, what is the implication of that? We need to forecast, and please forecast and let us know. So those are two questions. Maybe you might want to attend to that if he's unmuted.
I read to one in come. Because you waiting room for any control to
Dr. Kolomo, can you please unmute Professor Bidemi?
I can't find him anywhere here. Did you see? Can you see him on the screen or somewhere?
I see him. He's still there, and
Let's see.
Professor Bidemi, can you click on your microphone? Maybe to send a request.
Okay, I can see Prof. Yeah.
Okay,
right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Did you get the two questions?
Okay.
We can hear you. Did you get the two questions?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, please make it brief, sir. Make it brief so that we can go to more.
Let me start from the second question about voter register. We need to go and register. If you don't register, how do you vote? I think what the person that asked that question is trying to say is that should we participate in the election or not?
Yes.
It's very hard to hear you, Professor. I think your service is getting
we
poorer.
register to vote. The next question will be after registering and you are vote, you have your card. Should we participate? Please.
We can't hear you well again. We can't hear you well again, Professor. If you can maybe change your location a little bit.
I can hear you very clearly.
Okay,
Hello?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? I can hear you clearly.
We hear you now. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. Please, the second question is about voter registration. Please, we need to go and register. We need to go and register. Nobody will canvass for that don't register because of agitation for Yoruba nation. Everybody needs to go and register now. I think the reason why this person is asking this question is after registration for your voter card, during elections, should we vote or not? Please, we don't need to preempt that. The situation presently is that said, can we put a date? That is very, very difficult. Nobody will tell you the date that okay, your nation is going to be actualized this so the date. It's a process. Remember, it is a process. Okay? The question about as the situation now, what's the next step to be taken? The next step is part of what we are doing now. Part of what we are doing is part of the next step to be taken. Awareness. Let people be aware. If you go to the nooks and crannies of Yoruba nation, Yoruba villages and towns, are we really sure that our people are aware of this? So the first step, which we are doing now, is what we should continue to do. Awareness. Let this organization, Yoruba One Voice Worldwide, continue to do this so that very soon people will be much more aware of what is happening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Don't mute your microphone, Professor. There's more questions for you. And I'm going to join two questions together here. So two people are asking, and this question may also be answered by Areda, is it profitable for this organization to collaborate with other organizations? And when can we see all the coalition of all these of people who are agitating, organizations that are agitating for self-rule? See people from Ilana, Oduduwa, Professor Akintoye, even lecturers and professors. When is everybody going to come out together and actually say that this is what we desire?
Well,
even those of you in the academia.
That's my own
Thank
question, moderator.
Okay.
Moderator, are you with me?
Yes, I can hear you, Arisa.
I think that's my own question. In Yoruba One Voice, we have been trying to collaborate with Ilana Oduduwa. They have held a series of meetings. From the information in my disclosure, the last meeting was a stalemate when one of the leaders of, it was alleged that one of the leaders of Ilana Oduduwa insulted the delegate that represents Yoruba One Voice. But we try to sort it out because when you are having MOU, Memorandum of Understanding within two groups, there always be something like that. Maybe there was a rancor on the process of understanding. So because of our program, the June 12 rally last month, and the National Press Club that we were organizing, we were so busy. And this 1 year anniversary, I can inform you that for the past 3 weeks, Yoruba One Voice in different categories always hold meeting every day, so that all this program could be well organized and packaged. And after this program, I think we will continue with our meeting with Ilana Oduduwa, because Ilana Oduduwa is another important organization in this self-determination, which have a bunch of intellectual people that we can work together. And other small groups that we collaborate with. But what we want to do is that the two giant groups should be together first before inclusive of all these small groups. Because if we do it at the same time, the small group that is not more influential can give us more problem. And we are being conscious that about the group we want to have a memorandum of understanding with, so that they won't put us in trouble. Because 2023 is very close. The level of principle and understanding of Nigerian politics is not equal, because we have some people that they will tell you that they are championing self-determination. By 2022, they will be singing another song when politicians have rubbed their mind, rubbed their palms. So we are being conscious of that. That was one of the reasons that we are being careful that out of about 10 organizations, let us start with Ilana Oduduwa, that I and Professor Banji Akintoye always talk about it. And you will realize that even my brother, Chief Sunday Igboho, we have some level of interaction and how we can work together. But I realize that my brother Sunday Igboho have been part and parcel of Ilana Oduduwa. So we don't need to do his own on individual way. When we are partner with Ilana Oduduwa, I think we have bring the two personality together. So we are working towards it. After this 1 year anniversary, which is very, very important, which is more germane to us, we will go ahead with MOU with Ilana Oduduwa, if they want, because the information I got in the last meeting was not encouraging. And one of the leaders of the delegation has spoken to Professor Akintoye, and to the extent that we thought we should write letter to them to exercise our dismay, because when you are having two organizations together, you have to be conscious of your word, so that at the end of the day, the two sailors will not have problem in the center of the sea. So I can assure you, after this program, we work towards that.
Thank you, Are. Prof, are you still there? I have another question for you. Professor Fabumi, are you there?
Professor Fabumi.
We may have lost him. His network was not stable. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and read one last question before we proceed to the next stage.
And moderator,
yes,
don't write up anybody want to speak Yoruba, so that we don't lose touch in our own language too.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So one other question. that was meant for Professor Fabumi is that are there no other means other than pegging the age limit of anyone contesting to 60 years? Those above 60 that have led successfully. I think the question is not really straightforward. Yeah, those are the questions that are, most of the other questions are smaller questions within the big questions that we have read. So, and if we don't have any of the professors on the stage, I think we are going to move on. And you can move on. See the next item on our agenda, which is cutting of cake and the toasting. I called on Olori Ladun Orolugbagbe to the publicity secretary for YOV Worldwide to lead us in this stage. Olori Ladun. Host, can you help us unmute Olori Ladun, please?
Olori Ladun, okay. Let's see.
And I don't know where the cake is. I don't know if the cake is with Olori Ladun or
Erelu is the one who will be cutting the cake.
Okay, so we want to unmute Erelu too.
Erelu, yeah. Erelu. Trying to look for her. Sorry, Dr. Babaji, I'll soon be with you. I'm just trying to search. Okay. Okay. No, this is not the I've seen. So you do one. Okay, reduce, yeah? Okay. Reduce.
Okay. Cherry me by.
Benny, Arima.
Cherry cake.
Rí dáadáa kò ga tó.
Mo ń bọ̀, mo kọ́ tó ṣẹlẹ̀. Báyìí kọ́.
Ó dà gbé kéèkì ẹ kúrú dé o. A ní kéèkì tó ga.
Ẹni tá gbé sí mi.
Bàbá Mark, ẹ kalẹ̀ o.
Ṣẹ́tìrì. Ó lè gbọ́ wà mọ́ ń bọ̀. Ṣẹ́tìrì báyìí.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, a ti rí o.
Okay. So kò kúrú pé yá. Ẹ̀ka ló ń direct. Mo lórí Ládùn. Mo ti pè wọ́n látẹ̀kọ̀. Okay. Ó lórí Ládùn dà.
Okay, we need to. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wò lórí Ládùn.
Mo ti pè wọ́n látẹ̀kọ̀, mo ti send one text fún ọgbẹ́.
Okay, let's unmute her as well. Okay. Olori Ladun. He's not responding. Try to unmute her.
Yeah, I tried calling her also, as is my duty, and I sent her a text, but she's not picking up and not responding. I don't know.
Okay, ẹ jẹ́ ká proceed, ma. Ẹ jẹ́ kí Erelu give toast àti cutting of cake.
Oh yeah, give the toast.
Yeah.
Oh, no, kò tẹ́ ti kàn mí. Ó ṣì kú roadmap. Roadmap. Mo bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kí n gun wáìnì. Ẹ jẹ́ ní kí ìyàwó kan bá wa ṣe dẹ̀ ní. Ẹ jẹ́ pẹ́pẹ́ lómi kó bá wa ṣe. Okay, yeah, go on. We're quoting the YOV, Yoruba One Voice, anniversary, first year anniversary cake in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Happy anniversary. Happy first anniversary. Yoruba one voice. Many, many happy returns.
Coyote.
Okay.
Okay, let me just see.
Mute me. It's still on unmuted. Hello,
You're muted already.
Okay. I think the roadmap.
The roadmap?
Roadmap, yeah. Yeah.
What's the cake?
And you're going to look back, I need the cake. Yeah, the fucking cocoa síbẹ̀.
Akpe Prince.
Okay, oh. And you're going to look like you. Happy 1 year anniversary. We have the next program. Debo ready. Mr. Debo.
Okay, oh. Bóyá kẹ́ mute microphone yìí. Mute microphone yìí níbi kéèkó. Mute microphone yìí, ma.
Yes, sir.
We'll call on Mr. Debo Adekoya to go through the roadmap for YOV for us, please. Mr. Debo Adekoya, you have 5 minutes, sir. I'll mute Mr. Adekoya, sir. Mr. Debo Adekoya.
Is he around? Let us hear his voice. Moderator.
Yeah, I think Dr. Kolomo grant money access before we can hear him. We'll try láti wò bóyá lè rí wọn lórí. We don't know if he has his own name on it. Name la lè fi trace one out.
Is there? Ó ti bèèrè lọ́wọ́ mi.
Ṣé orúkọ wọn náà lò sá?
Mr. Debo Adekoya, yeah.
Lógo ọ̀fẹ́ mo wà bí yìí mo mute ara mi ni.
Okay, ẹ ṣé gan sir. All right, go on sir.
Okay. Mo máa share screen mi. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n.
Ẹ máa need admin power nìyẹn o láti lè share screen.
Yes, wọ́n máa need láti give me ní.
Dr. Kolomo,
you know what?
Grant wọn ní admin.
I think I have it.
Good.
Yeah. Well, jẹ́ kí n kọ́kọ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ààrẹ wa fún gbogbo akitiyan tí wọ́n ti ń ṣe lórí ètò wa yìí. And I bring greetings on behalf of our grand patrons, Iba Gani Abiodun Ige Adams, Logun Afeo, the General Secretary of the organization, Dr. Shina Kolomo, the Director of Program, Erelu Abikade Early, the entire membership of Yoruba One Voice Worldwide, and all our guests here. Ní àwọn kan tí àkọ́kọ́ ní ilẹ̀ YOV. In YOV, we believe that vision and mission drives result. And if the result is not achieved, we will reevaluate the methods. Nígbà tó di ní last year, a ṣe nǹkan kan torí téèyàn bá kọ́ fẹ́ ṣe even nínú business tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ṣe business. There is one nǹkan táwọn èèyàn need ní àwọn nǹkan tó wà fundamental aspect of business is to have a business plan. Ẹlòmíì máa rò pé owó ló need, owó yẹn kọ́ ló need, but business plan. But in this case, we have a robust roadmap, a way to benchmark us as a serious organizations. Because saying about any business plan is equivalent to a roadmap. Last year, October 1st, a ṣe rally ngba àwọn ààrẹ náà ti mention nǹkan tá a ṣe last year. so ìyẹn wá snowball sí àwọn event tá à ń ṣe ní ọdún yìí tẹ́ bá wo àwọn lórí screen yìí àwọn roadmap wà ní àwọn ààrẹ náà ti mention nǹkan tí a gbé tí à ń ṣe ní ọdún yìí eléyìí alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ yìí níbí yìí ni mass awareness campaign ìyẹn ló kọ́kọ́ wá láti ọdún tó kọjá nígbà tá a ṣe October 1st rally yẹn so ìyẹn la kọ́kọ́ ṣe so àwọn àgbẹ̀ ó ti wọ ní tẹ́ bá wò a pín àwọn kìíní sí ìsọ̀rí bíi quarters first quarter àwọn nǹkan tá a máa ṣe ní first quarter ní àwọn nǹkan tá a gbé ṣe ní first quarter àwọn nǹkan tá a gbé ṣe ní second quarter àwọn nǹkan tá a gbé ní third quarter àti fourth quarter fún ọdún yìí kí ọdún yìí lè kó máa fi kásẹ̀ ńlẹ̀ nígbà tá a ṣe talákọ̀ọ́kọ́ yẹn àti last year nìyẹn ti wá àdèmàmà kò ń ṣe pé nǹkan tó máa tán tó wẹ́ pé a máa ṣe lẹ́ẹ̀kan ó máa is a continuous exercise so ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì nígbà tó di March early this year that was the March the webinar international conference tí a ṣe so nígbà tó di third quarter yẹn náà àwọn láti wò pé àwọn iṣẹ́ tá a máa ṣe owó torí owó náà ni tá gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń ṣe yìí owó ni orí owó ló dálé so I raise the fund àwọn financial department wa because we have a series of departments. We have a financial department, we have a publicity, media, radio, PR department, we have the legal department, we have the international affairs departments and some other departments. So oníkálùkù ló gbé iṣẹ́ wọn ṣe. So now ní ẹlẹ́gbà tó di ìsọ̀rí kejì which is a quarter two bí àwọn nǹkan tá a tún gbé ṣe nìyí gbogbo àwọn institution tó wà ní Yorùbá land àwọn intellectuals yẹn we want them to have a buy-in torí tá a bá get buy-in with them báyìí ó dà pé ọ̀nà wá ìjìn so pẹ̀lú nǹkan tá à ń ṣe lè ní getting the buy-in from the intellectual circles náà ni so irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn so nínú àwọn ètò tá a tún pètèpèrò agricultural project ní second quarter yìí a tún ní àwọn department yẹn tó yẹ pé wọ́n ń ṣe ohun ọ̀gbìn because tí Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kí a rí àmọ́bí tí kíní máa já sí tí ọ̀rọ̀ ogun bá dé àgbàdúrà fún ogun kó dé ọtí nǹkan bá dé tí ò bá sí oúnjẹ nílùú nǹkan tó léwu ni so a ní àwọn ètò yẹn tó ń lọ nígbà tó tún di ní oṣù tó kọjá yìí ní June 12 ní gbogbo àgbáyé tẹ́ bá wò ní June 12 gbogbo kíní láti plan sílẹ̀ kò ń ṣe pé báyà ó kàn wá ní June 12 àṣírálì ìwọ́de ní gbogbo àgbáyé about 170 countries ní àwọn èèyàn wa ti jáde a ní àwọn setback kan ní àwọn ìlú kan tó yẹ pé COVID yìí wà gan tí COVID yìí hit wọn dáadáa but wọn ò lè bọ́ síta wọ́n ṣe ìwọ́de wọ́n ṣàṣe nínú ibì kan oníkálukú ṣàṣe àwọn tó ṣe lórí Zoom àwọn tó ṣe jẹ́ pé bóyá nínú hall kan náà kàn gbà tán kàn wà bẹ́ẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe now ní oṣù yìí July 1st ní Washington DC a ṣe World Press Conference at the prestigious National Press Conference Press Club ní Washington DC. A gbé ẹ̀hónú wa, a gbé lọ sí ìgbìmọ̀ àgbáyé kí wọ́n lè rí gbogbo nǹkan tó ń lọ ní ìlú. Torí tí nǹkan bá ń lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ tá bá ń gbé pamọ́ tí àwọn aráàta ò bá gbọ́, gbogbo orílẹ̀-èdè tán bá gbọ́, ó dà pé iṣẹ́ wa ò tí kò múnádóko. So ìyẹn la tún ṣe yẹn ní June 1st ní July 1st. Now ní èní yìí ni à ń ṣe 4th year anniversary eléyìí tí ètò tá à ń ṣe lé ní báyìí sí. Tá bá tún ti kúrò lórí ìyẹn báyìí sí 4th year anniversary yẹn a tún ti ní October 1st irú eléyìí tá a ṣe ní June 12 yìí báyìí sí a tún máa ṣe ní 3rd quarter wa ní October 1st ìyẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Now tó bá wá máa di the last quarter of the year which is we doing the home run ìyẹn ni pé àwọn nǹkan tá a tún ní sílẹ̀ nìyí a fẹ́ ní Foreign Affairs Office ní US, UK and the European Union and tó bá dẹ̀ di ní November ní ògo Ọlọ́run international a ní November International Conference tó ń bọ̀ then a tún ní fundraising yìí àti gbogbo publicity yìí àwọn nǹkan tó ń ṣe pé bóyá quarter kan ó máa lọ all year round ni ní àní àwọn nǹkan kan wà tí a ti fi sí ibi tó jẹ́ pé àwọn there is a subsection on this work breakdown structure subsections wà irú ní fún fún àpẹẹrẹ a máa ní bi-weekly administrative strategy meeting a máa ní monthly plenary meetings a ní collaboration pẹ̀lú àwọn organization irú àwọn tí ààrẹ bá sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan àwọn ìlànà à ń collaborate pẹ̀lú wọn láti kó lè move síwájú a dẹ̀ máa ní departmental meetings tí a máa ń ṣe gbogbo àwọn department wa wọ́n máa ń ṣe gbogbo àwọn yẹn a lè torí tá a bá break àwọn kíní yìí down dáadáa máa ṣe ògbó yẹn but a ní pé ká gbé lódìdí jáde báyìí ni so àwọn ètò wa ta nílẹ̀ fún ọdún yìí láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọdún láti gbé ètò yìí sílẹ̀ tí a dẹ̀ mú ní oṣooṣù bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn torí we are busy gan gbogbo departments pátápátá ní iṣẹ́ wà lọ́wọ́ wa so nínú ẹgbẹ́ yìí àwọn ọlọ́run bá wa ṣe a ní àwọn talents gan a ní àwọn èèyàn a ní àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n àwọn tó rí ẹ pé gan àwọn èèyàn tó lè bá gbogbo kíní yìí together ní ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ọdún yìí ní àwa kan ládìde la ṣe àwọn kíní pọ̀ so ibi tí ọ̀rọ̀ wa tó wà nìyẹn kò dẹ̀ ń ṣe pé bàbá ṣe lè báyìí sí àwọn kan tí a máa ṣe ní ọdún tó ń bọ̀ náà àti ń gbìmọ̀ ẹ̀ àti ń ṣiṣẹ́ lórí ẹ̀ bá ṣe máa ṣe so ibi tá a wà nìyẹn o so tí ẹgbẹ́ bá wà tí ò bá ní road map or any business tí ò bá ní business plan in this case we have a robust business plan tí actualize month by month by month quarter by quarter tó bá yá ó máa fall into every year ipe year one yìí nǹkan bá báyìí báyìí achieve ẹgbẹ́ mélòó ni ẹ rí tí ó jókòó tí wọ́n ní ètò báyìí tí wọ́n gbé ètò jáde pé nǹkan tá à ń ṣe nínú ọdún yìí ni torí àwọn èèyàn kan máa béèrè pé inú ẹgbẹ́ yín kí nǹkan tá à ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá ti débẹ̀ yẹn a ní road map nǹkan tí àwa tá à ń ṣe ni kò ń ṣe pé bóyá kàn jókòó àbí atẹ́gùn fẹ́ wá síbí lẹ́nu àbá atẹ́gùn fẹ́ wá síbí lọ́la in between àwọn kan wà tó jẹ́ pé a lè sọ síbí náà tá à ń ṣe ṣùgbọ́n bí gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe rí nìyí o a ní ká fi àwòrán nǹkan tí à ń ṣe tí gbogbo àwọn tó bá ń gbọ́ nípa YOV pé kò ń ṣe ẹgbẹ́ tó yẹ pé a kàn jókòó a kàn ń pariwo iṣẹ́ ń lọ bá ṣe ń ṣiṣẹ́ lábẹ́ ẹ̀ máa gbọ́ ariwo síta torí àwọn náà nítorí nǹkan tí ò bá ṣe ṣe in theory there is no way tẹ́lẹ̀ practicalize ẹ̀ a máa kọ́kọ́ bí ìgbà tí architect ní tí wọ́n fẹ́ kọ́lé wọ́n máa kọ́kọ́ kọ́ orí paper náà máa kọ́kọ́ draw ẹ̀ sí tí wọ́n bá draw ẹ̀ tí wọ́n bá ṣe kíní kan ṣe tó wá lọ practicalize ẹ̀ so nǹkan táwa náà ṣe nìyẹn gbogbo kíní yẹn a gbé sórí paper a máa wò ká túṣẹ̀ wá jáde láti wá ṣe so kíní presentation mi ní jù báyìí lọ.
Ẹ ṣé gan, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for that brief and analytical projection. Àwa náà lè rí àwọn ojú ni. We see the steps that we are taking. We know what we have to do next, and we know what comes after that. Ẹ ṣé gan, sir. Ẹ ṣé àdúpẹ́. At this point, stop sharing screen, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Ẹ kú àtàárọ̀ gbogbo lé àdúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín fún pé ẹ take time láti join wa láti celebrate this 1 year anniversary. Mo mọ̀ pé a lot of people have many things to say, but because of the time factor, we did not want to take any question verbally. Nítorí ó máa ráòdì, àdèmọ́ bá ṣe máa select àwọn èèyàn láṣẹ ní káwọn èèyàn send questions on in. And we're hopeful that we were able to attend to questions that relate to the speech that we've heard. And because that's what we're actually here to do today, listen to those speeches and ask questions about them. Nísìnyí, àsìkò ti lọ, àti lo bí 30 minutes over our budgeted time, but we want to move on so that everybody can move on to other things in their day. You've taken so much of your days and you may want to do things with your families. Àti cut cake done. So the next intervention is vote of thanks. Communicate. Oh, sorry, sir. I missed that. Communicate. After every deliberations and every meeting, there must be a communique that is issued that the public will know about what was discussed and agreed on in this event. So communicate for today will be by Asiwaju Kayode Idowu. Asiwaju Kayode Idowu. Your host, ẹ bá mi unmute Asiwaju Kayode Idowu. Kọ́lé communicate briefly. 5 minutes communicate. Please, you can skip the greetings. Just I'll go straight to communicate. Thank you, sir. Asiwaju Kayode Idowu, is it there?
Ashwaju Kayode Igboho. Dr. Kolomo, is he there? Dr. Kolomo.
Ó dà pé mo rí pé kíní admin yẹn transfer sẹ́lòmíì lẹ́ẹ̀kan.
I mean, I'm just trying to.
Ṣé ṣe ní admin authority, Dr. Kolomo?
Let me just check. We just need to check. Yeah, I'm still with you.
Okay. And we're looking for Ashwaju Kayode Igboho.
Yeah, we just need to unmute him.
Àmọ́ bóyá orúkọ wọn gangan ló wà ńbẹ̀.
I saw the name. Just to.
Apologies for the delay and try to transfer Kali on mute, Dr. Ashwaju.
That's the only other.
Tí a bá ṣe báyìí, tá a bá mute everybody, àní go this far because
yeah, not at all. Yes, everybody wants to become the moderator. So, Ashwaju. No, I can't find Ashwaju here. Ashwaju Kayode Igboho.
Morúkọ tán lò ní.
Dr. Kolomo, can you read out the communique?
All right, let me just see.
The participant number. Okay.
This will just see it to me. Okay. All right. Let me just try to. Okay, the communique issued at the end of the webinar conference on the state of Yoruba nation, organized by Yoruba One Voice to mark the 1-year anniversary of the biggest pan-Yoruba group, held on Saturday, July 10, 2021. Background: since 1914, forceful amalgamation which brought about themselves, the people have been confronted with a string of socio-political wars. Yoruba phobia have for half a century insisted on self-actualization and federalism. These demands have been trampled and subdued through the military coup, which in the process subverted the 1960 constitution, the near equivalent of some level of autonomy for Yoruba people. Our people have fought various battles, endured the military coup and command structure of the Nigerian state at the very huge human, spiritual, and material costs. The Yoruba people are tired and continuously frustrated in not having the right to choose their own political and economic system in time with the Yoruba time-honored civilization. Today, the Yoruba nation is passing through even a more difficult moment characterized by poverty, hunger, the non-political leadership now accompanied by external threats in the form of armed invasion of the Yoruba sacred indigenous territory by Fulani and Boko Haram terrorist group. The invader, who are fully armed, have organized themselves into terror gangs, raping, killing, kidnapping, high and low, royals and cobblers, rich and poor, armed and defenseless people alike, turning the Yoruba land into scorched. The consequences have been loss of biogenic resources, destruction of sacred groves and forests with serious implications on health and livelihood, food insecurity, and threat to life and property of the people of the Southwest. Their liberation. Participants were drawn from across the world, representing 6 continents made up of Yoruba professional men, women, and students numbering some 300 people. Aware that the Yoruba nation is faced with unchecked migration of several people, many of them armed from the Maghreb region or the Middle Belt, fleeing conflict and trembling, who have now found Southwest as a safe haven with terrifying impact on the social, cultural demography of Yoruba territory. Aware that no fewer than 2,000 Yoruba people have either been kidnapped, raped, or killed by Fulani terrorists since 2015. Informed that some part of Yoruba territory remain under the forceful operation of Fulani armed gangs, especially in Yewa area or Ogun State and Ibarapa in Oyo State, or Yewa area of Ogun State and Ibarapa in Oyo State. Aware that Yoruba farmers in millions have been displaced from their farm and the Yoruba communities are currently under siege. That the federal government, through its various statements and action, has refused to take action, fueling very strong suspicion that the central government is a conspicuous accomplice. Aware that several efforts are being made by Yoruba community, individual and organizations to respond in different manner to the obvious existential threats. Knowing that the helpless situation has us, the fear that the actors of Yoruba are part of the grand plot to seize Yoruba land in a war of conquest, conceived ammunition, are now being gradually but forcefully implemented by main factors, some of whom occupy strategic official positions here. That Yoruba people have largely lost hope in the ability of Nigerian state to protect the Yoruba nation from threat of near extinction. That the horrible situation across Yoruba land, occasioned by armed terrorist occupation of some of Yoruba ancestral homestead, has imposed the law of self-preservation on the people. That this propelled the various rallies being organized by some group, including, but not limited to Chief Sunday Igboho. That the pattern of the response from Nigerian government ranges from orchestrated threats, intimidation, violence to outright killing, and assassination of perceived Yoruba self-determination activists. That this ugly trend undermines the letters of Nigeria Constitution and represent a violent assault on international convention and social political right of which Nigeria is signatory. Disturbed by the worrisome trend, one first hereby make the following resolution. Number one, that armed occupation of Yoruba territory by Fulani armed men and Boko Haram cell is a declaration of war on Yoruba land. This we cannot continue to tolerate. That the Fulani control federal government should order an unconditional exit of this armed bandit from Yoruba land henceforth, or face the wrath of the people. That the invasion of private home of Yoruba people, including that of Chief Sunday Igboho, is strongly condemned. The murder of innocent in his house is an act of state terrorism. All those security operatives that carry out this callous attack must be fished out and punished. Number four, immediate and unconditional release of all Yoruba people in detention, who we understand are kept under unhealthy conditions, with some of them being tortured to implicate key Yoruba leaders. All charges against them must be dropped. Number five, immediate referendum to be supervised by United Nations on the right to self-determination by Yoruba nation. Number six, that Yoruba nation resolve to forge ahead with renewal zeal the right to self-determination and entrench in Article 1 of United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights and African Charter on People's Rights. Number seven, we urge Yoruba people all over the world not to relent in the irrevocable campaign for self-determination for Yoruba people. Number eight, we resolve to work with the other Nigerian ethnic nationality in search for self-determination, while we affirm our commitment to work with members of the international community to resolve Nigerian dilemma, which may consume Nigeria if effective and genuine steps are not taken to deal with the arrogant, repressive, and anti-people posture of Nigeria garrison state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the
Moderator,
communique.
adoption of the communique. Call on the person that will adopt and someone that will second it so that it become a communique.
Yes, at this point, I'm suggesting that we open the floor for everybody to be able to talk. Let's open for general public so that we can do the adoption, and I'm sure people want to rub mind with each other once the event is over.
Just adoption and seconded new. Adoption and seconded of that communique.
Will message more sense in here.
Okay. That's it.
Dr. Kolomon, can go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we are calling for
Okay.
We are calling for the adoption. Dr. Kolomon, she finished everybody, and I can see several hands already going up. So please bear with us. Let's do the adoption. We are asking for the adoption of the communique that was read by Dr. Kolomo, and we need 2 people to second it.
I second it first.
Name, sir. Who's adopting it?
Yes, I can either adopt or second it, whatever. I can adopt it.
Reverend Oduduwa adopted.
Yes, please.
And I second it.
One more secondment.
I second it.
Second, Otumba Ayode, or let me see. Who's the second person seconding it?
I second it.
Name, sir.
Mark Oyetunde.
Mark Oyetunde. Thank you, sir. The communique is adopted and it's now official and shall be released. I hope that everybody will take time to read it. I know the audible was not very clear. Please take time to read it so that it will not be in the newspaper that you are seeing it for the first time. Okay, before we proceed, we want to call on Erelu Abike to give the vote of thanks and remarks. And we also wanted to include prayers. After that, we'll have the Yoruba anthem led by Chief Victor Akingbayi. And then we can now have a chat and discussion among each other to greet ourselves, for a job well done, have a chat around. And if you want to have questions for our array at that point, we can then take that.
You have already closed the meeting, moderator.
We need to celebrate.
Thanks. Everybody will stand up. If you want to allow 1 to 3 questions, you can allow them before vote of time from Erelu.
Okay.
After vote of time, you have closed everything. So let me vote of time. Nobody can you can allow 3 questions in Yorubas.
Share right now before vote of time.
Yeah, before vote of time. Okay.
Okay. I see. It's hard for me to see everybody. I can see.
There's one Dr. Awofolaji.
I see 4 hands now. I'm calling by in series. I see the first person I saw and it's been on forever is Otumba Orenika or the Orenisi. That will be number 1. Number 2 will be Prince Niyi Oye. Number 2. Number 3 will be Dr. Akin Mo something. Mo local show Lodoni. Reverend Ifeoluwa will be number 4. And we're not going to go beyond that. We're not going to go beyond that for the sake of time. Okay, Otumba K, if you can make it brief.
Okay, thank you. I stand on all the existing protocols. Moki, Monve Kibogwa Kurire, 1 year anniversary YOV. Feki, Mare, Ogawa, ati Dr. Okonlomo, ati Gbogbo Executive, Eshe Akurire Niyo. Contribution in money, a bit proposal. more of question. Based on what is happening back at home, at the Fulani are trying to subjugate, and try to silence us with other arrests, killing, and threatening people. So how to make our people courageous? We fair be suggestion. One thing, and OPC tí wọ́n dìde níjọ́sí tí wọ́n lọ jà ní tán ló bá mú Wàkílù, wọ́n detain wọn, case wọn wà ongoing. But right now, we realize pé àwọn OPC kan wọ́n kú in the line of defense, trying to rescue people that were abducted in Osun State recently. So possible fún YOV 1 year anniversary, can give cash contribution, can fún àwọn ìyàwó tó ṣaláìsí ní ibi ìjà yẹn pẹ̀lú àwọn abductor yẹn, àwọn kidnappers yẹn, can compensate maybe $1 million. So in that suggestion, tí generalism or Bomitoma allow it, I want to start that with 100,000 naira. So contribution to support the family, because one year we're every. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Otumba K. Amagba konsi kato jẹ́ kí Prince Niyi Oye. Go ahead, please. Kindly make it brief, sir. Kindly make it brief, sir. On mute ara yín, sir. On mute microphone yín, sir. Gbọ́ yín rárá báyìí, Prince Niyi. Prince Niyi, tẹ́ bá ń gbọ́ wa, gbọ́ yín o. Okay, padà sí Prince Niyi tán bá ti lè.
Okay, ṣé gbọ́ mi sìn?
Okay, a ṣe ń gbọ́ yín ni ẹ jẹ́ bá make a brief, sir.
Lógún ọ̀fẹ́ o.
Ẹ kálẹ́ o.
Ibà rẹ̀ Ganyada.
Ẹ kálẹ́.
Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun. Lágbọ́ Ọlọ́run pẹ̀rẹ̀ tí ń bẹnu kó fàyè gbà kìnnú. Gbogbo arúmọ lè wulẹ̀ Yorùbá wá fàyè gbà yín lágbọ́ Ọlọ́run.
Àmín o.
Ṣé rí ẹ ṣe gan-an? Gbogbo ẹyẹ náà ń fàyè gba àṣà ìbalẹ̀ pọ́n nípa ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ Odùduwà yìí. Ẹ̀yin nípa sówó, ẹ̀yin nípa sọ́mu, ẹ̀yin nípa sáà. Gbogbo ewé tí ń bẹnu gbó fàyè gbẹ wúrà dùn ní pèyẹ wúrà rẹ. Nígbà tí yìí ẹ̀pẹ́ láyé fún ẹ̀gún lẹ́nu. Ìgbà tí a sùn wá dáadáa. Ẹjọ́ amúlé wa tí wọ́n lọ sí tọ́lọ mú Wákìlì nípa àpànúfẹ́sọ̀. Ẹjọ́ kí ni plan tí ẹ pàpẹ́sì fún wọn? Ọ̀nà jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
Ẹ ṣé gan sà. Ààrẹ ṣe ká gbé question kan sí kẹ́ tó respond.
Ẹnìkan wà tó ń tà wá láàmú ń bẹ̀ yẹn, ó yẹ kán mú tẹ̀ ọkàn yọ.
Ẹ bá wa yọ Báṣọ̀run Àbànà. Ẹ bá wa yọ Báṣọ̀run Àbànà, wọ́n disturb o. Àbí kẹ́ mute microphone wọn.
Jẹ́ kí n kọ́kọ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ K-Money pé ó tẹ̀ rántí ẹni tó kú ní Òṣogbo ní last weekend lórí ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn Fúlàní tó kidnap àwọn 4. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ti rescue àwọn 4 yẹn. So ibi tí wọ́n ti jọ exchange ìbọn ni ìbọn ti bá OPC yẹn tó kú. And it's one of our ex-official. ESCO Osun State gan ló wà. It's one of them. According to them, wọ́n nígbà tí wọ́n béèrè pé kó má lọ òun gbọ́dọ̀ lọ pé kíní ẹ̀ kàn lára. So to be ṣaláìsí. Mo fẹ́ sọ fún yín pé láàrin October 16 lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, àwọn tí olórúkọ àtẹni tí olórúkọ OPC tó ti kú adìfẹ́ tó 4 sí 5. But ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan tá à ń ṣe ń ṣe àpariwo mọ́ torí pé nígbà tá a pariwo ti Wákìlì yẹn ó bu wa lọ́wọ́. A rí pé ariwo tá a pa ó wà lára nǹkan tó jẹ́ kí àwọn ọmọ yẹn jẹ̀yà oṣù 4 ní prison. Àwọn security kan ló sọ fún wa wípé any operation táwọn ọmọ wa bá ti ṣe ń sìn kán má lo visual ẹ̀ mọ́, even kán má lo picture ẹ̀ mọ́, pé kán ṣe underneath. Àwọn kan náà sọ fún wa pé bá ṣe ń ṣe yẹn tó ti embarrass àwọn èèyàn ó embarrass àwọn so ó wà lára nǹkan táwọn fi ń kọra so nǹkan tí OPC ń ṣe majorly ń sìn lórí ọ̀rọ̀ security ni pé anything tó bá ṣe kan ṣe lábẹ́lẹ̀ kó má pariwo ẹ̀ mọ́. And there's a group called Southwest Security Stakeholders, about 5 main groups tó ní structure ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ní àjọ papọ̀ lájọ ní coalition OPC hunters all the Southwest hunters leaders amajo mix vigilante all the 2 main factions of vigilante wà ń bẹ̀ Àgbẹ̀kọ̀yà the 2 main factions of Àgbẹ̀kọ̀yà wà ń bẹ̀ and other small groups pẹ̀lú OPC so ìyẹn a máa meet ní once in a month láti make sure wípé there is a collaboration in various community of security àwọn yẹn ṣiṣẹ́ tí wọ́n lọ rẹpẹtẹ àwọn lórí Southwest Security Stakeholder Group yẹn èmi náà ni mo ní convener yẹn wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ tí wọ́n lọ tún wọn tẹ̀ pariwo torí a ṣe meeting níjọ́ Wednesday gbàtí gbogbo wọn máa give report kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní various community tó wà ó fẹ́ pa ní 3 hours and àwọn ọmọ tí wọ́n mú ní Ìbàdàn yẹn the DPP have discharged them and